Showtime.
Black African power. What's good? What's happening? A well-organized lie defeats a disorganized truth every time. Woohoo-wee. Man, y'all already know what it is, man. Man, we got the pseudo-killers on deck, man, and y'all know what we doing, man. We come to do, we got to do, and we're going to do what we got to do. We standing tall. We standing strong. Hey, what's good, Sosa, man? What it do? What it do? What it do?
Hey man, look, man, African American power, man. Listen, man, we here to get it in. You know what I'm saying? The real black. No, I'm just kidding, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Look, man, we finna get it in, and mix it up and fuss like we normally do, man. Shoot, Mac Rob was good.
Yeah. Mac Rob, what's on your mind, brother? How you doing? Pseudo-killer official, what's up?
Man, y'all got it, man. Just happy to be on the panel, man. Kind of been holding it down in the background, but I think it's time to come out of the dark.
Come out the dark.
Come on out of the dark, baby. So looking forward to this conversation, man. Heavy literature, great information, and I hope other people learn.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Juju, what it do? What it do? What it do?
Chilling. And it's Black African power in this mofo. But
some kind of power. Some kind of power, man. Man, peace to the chat, man. I see you, Miss Bennett. What it do? What it do? Pseudo-killer Army. Brass, what it do, man? The general in the place to be. Gary Hart, what's good with you, man? What it do? What it do? Man, let the crowd get up in here, man. How many people in there? What we got?
A strong 16 up in that piece.
Well, we're gonna hold on then. You cut somebody else so they're gonna pile in the building. You're supposed to put death by expertise, Black Egypt.
Yeah, we just waiting up.
Oh, put Black Egypt. This is an anti-Black Egypt conversation.
Who messed it up? Who messed it up? Get them going in there.
Oh, man.
Cedric, what's going on with you, man? What it do? I see you, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, we ain't gonna rock till we get a certain amount of people in here, man. I know we was early, man. That was a good show. Dropped off my 5 cent, got up out of there before it got too hot, man. That was a good program right there. So make sure y'all like and subscribe. Tune in, man. Tune in, man.
I left out a part in what Dr. Jackie Murray was saying, because she was talking about because I didn't want to get to the Black Egypt joint. She talked about how when those Greek people were talking about the Egyptians, right? It was during the reign of the Kushite Empire. So a lot of descriptions, a lot of people that they were encountering at that time and in their writings would have been from the Kushite Empire. So so some of the descriptions you get, would have been I didn't even put that in there. I said, you know what, I'm not gonna touch that right now.
You should have a lot of population, yo. Yeah, we put the proper names and critique on it, yo, and keep it bubbling like it's supposed to be. Okay. All right. Fontaine, we see you. American Dream. Dreaming, we see you. Yeah, man. So the people get up in here, man. Man, so yeah, we've been having good discussions all the way around the board. I think it's important to have and varying opinions, and then back it up with the experts, man. So we'll definitely get an expert on the subject. Probably need a couple of them on there to kind of tease that out a little bit. But I think we're on the right course with everything we're doing. I just know on this side, man, we're not mischaracterizing nobody's argument. We're going to take a person at what they say. And we ain't going, now I'm going to get petty. I got to show them. I'm definitely getting petty. Yeah, got to get petty. Because I feel like niggas be petty in me. So, I got to get back, get my lick back. But yeah, competition is fair. You know what I'm saying? It's fun and it's fair, right? But there are rules of engagement that we should always adhere to. Just to make the conversations fair, man. So, if you like when you did your thing today, I'm not gonna mischaracterize what you said. There's a word you use, it's called proto. And in the listening audience that might not be up on it, you have proto languages, you have the proto-dynastic period or pre-dynastic, the proto-dynasties. So a proto-dynasty is not actually the dynasties. It's a working towards getting to the dynasties. And so if you got proto-racism or proto, what was you saying, so what was you calling it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. More like proto racism. You know what I'm saying? Just the earlier forms of it. Like, no, I mean, no different than because basically what I was speaking to is like how, and the same thing with the Enlightenment, right? You know, the Enlightenment, the scientific thing didn't pop out of a vacuum. You know, they were reading the texts of the Muslim and the Golden Age, shit like that. So those texts had become widespread, and a lot of it led to some of the rationale, some of the scientific explanation that they got, and some of the endeavors that they went on to. You know what I mean, even Isaac Newton was reading prior works. You know what I mean? It's not like folks just start off just on their own. Like they read back in time and they pull from past. You know what I mean? So
it's important, and I think, you know, I want to make sure that I make these points like that. You talk about the proto, you talk about how science and the age of wisdom, the house of wisdom and all that.
the Golden Age of
Yeah,
Islam.
the golden age of Islam, not the golden age of the damn Moors. That's Ivan Van Soderman. He made that up. Never, no such thing as that. It was the golden age of Islam, because they reached the golden age in science and literature. That's what it said. We talk about golden. I think Egypt might have reached 2 or 3 golden ages. West Africa reached the golden age, which coincides with the golden age of Islam, because of course Islam was there, but there was a lot of great African thinkers at that time period that helped, you know, put forth, you know, that golden age in West Africa. So these are very, very pivotal points. But the point I want to bring is, if you take away the things that progress prior to that, you're going to take away, you don't even get to the golden age. So we never want to be people that don't have elders to look up to be able to critique their mistakes, critique what they did right. That way you can push forward. And I give the analogy of some people like to sit at the feet, some people like to stare them in the face, and I just like to stand on their shoulders. And everybody can pick and choose who they feel like shoulders they stand on. But if you throw all of them away, right, and if you critique them to the point where they would have had to been perfect, that's not actually how history works, though. And it really doesn't. So Michael Jordan, the critique on Michael Jordan wasn't actually making him a gambler. I mean, we had that argument before. I don't know, it wasn't you, so it was somebody who was arguing with, was letting us, his legacy is not based off the fact that he was gambling. Now, if he was in the day's time right now, it'd be trouble, because he'd be in the middle of the NBA finals in Las Vegas the night before the game with a cigar in his mouth, gambling, right? Would have looked real bad in the day's time. They would have ran with that. But the way you critique Michael Jordan, you critique him based off of his work and where the community was, the community of basketball was before he got there, and how he left it. So don't throw away your elders. Now, some elders aren't actually elders, and they deserve to get thrown away. Crimes against the babies is crimes against humanity. There's no slight on that. There's no reason to bash or beat or sexually assault children, women, or any human at that. So that's definitely you're done. We don't have to discuss that. No amount of oppression, no amount of how the white people did it. There's some things we make no excuses for. But it's important for us to maintain our humanity, is to understand the cultural context in all these conversations. Because if you lose the cultural context, you'll literally lose your humanity. You'll think that your position, the way you're thinking now, is how people prior to you was. People prior to you are important because it's a stepping stone. We talk about that in science. And we got a great book that we're going to get into today. And this book talks about that. It talks about expertise. It talks about established knowledge. So for knowledge to get established, there has to be mistakes made so you can tell the difference. So I just want to make sure, just talking to the community, I want to make sure that we know that we have no perfect scientists in the Black community. We have no perfect scholars. We have no perfect autodidacts. There won't be that. In the conversation that we're having now, some young guns, male and female, will look back and say, what the hell was the pseudo-killers and Unc and them talking about? Don't they know that there was an actual another genome inside the genome? That the tools that we got now, we just wasn't able to see it. And it's gonna be wild. And they're gonna have the same, oh, should you fuck with him? You that nigga so dope. I ain't met that nigga. Yeah, some niggas say, but hold on, he did that. And the conversation is good. So as long as we don't disrespect ourselves in the midst of the conversations, I think everything is up for critique. But I think we can learn a lesson, right, from other cultures that have not been enslaved in the way they do. They untrained scholars, they train scholars, they're experts, right? It's a certain way you do it. And I never forget, I had a good conversation with Dr. Mia. She was like, yo, why y'all be doing that? The Ivan Van Serve and all that. I was like, I ain't doing nothing. She said, no, y'all talking about retiring them. She was like, that ain't how that actually happens. I said, well, what you mean? She said, well, in our fields of studies, the doctors, right? Books they write and stuff like that, those books just don't get picked up to be put in the classrooms and stuff. They don't get promoted like that, right? But once it's out of date, it's just out of date. And the things that need to be brought forward get brought forward, right? And she always gives me the damn conversation about Ben Franklin and how he fucked up electricity. He said, you don't hear them, oh, look at, he was a shooter. He got, no, that ain't how that worked. She said, it's in the textbooks that the things he got right, they don't even talk about it, right? But when they talk about it, they say, this is what he got wrong. My fault. This is what he got wrong. And this is what he got right. That's how they do that. He was a damn pseudo. So I want the listening audience to know, man, like, there's a place for calling a person a pseudo. I'm not the one to make the rules on how everybody feel like it should be applied. But what I think of a pseudo is a person that continually presents ideas that are either discredited or outdated willfully. It'd be hard for me to call Ivan Van Sertima a pseudo because he actually used the data of the time. And I remember with the Almacs, the damn person that found the damn Almacs was like, these is Negroes. That's the person, they put him in the museum as that. I remember that. It was crazy, right? So, but you wouldn't call him a pseudo, right? You would call the people who continue to promote the Almacs as pseudo, because now we have enough available data to understand how the population traversed from Africa over 100,000 years, how long it took, what population they came from out of Asia, Eastern Europe and all that. We have that understanding now. And so we wouldn't keep saying that the native population was already here prior to this. That would be pseudo, the mischaracterizing of history, right? And so we stand on the shoulders of established wisdom. And this is where we'll start at, man. So hope y'all got your books, man. And the audience, man, y'all, the people in the server, where they at? They supposed to be joining in this healthy conversation. It's going to be a very loose conversation. We're going to be too rigid with it, man. But I want to start with the book, The Death by Expertise, the campaign against established knowledge and why it matters. Tom Nichols. Y'all should have it on y'all Audible. Download it. You should have the book, right? And I got it on my daggone Kindle. Yeah, I got all three. You know, I like to highlight stuff, right? So I want to start it off with this, man, and see what y'all think about this. The introduction. It says the death to expertise. It says there is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there always has been. The stain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way throughout public and cultural life.
Political.
Political? What did I say? Cultural?
Public.
My fault. Don't be correcting me.
This is the quote I wanted to start off with. Go ahead, though.
You want to start off with it?
No, you got it. It's yeah.
No, but I want you to talk about it, though. I want to read it, and I want everybody to talk about it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, I want to. let me do it again. There's a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there's always has been. The stain of anti-intellectualism has been a contrast, a constant thread winding its way through our, what's this? Political and cultural life. Okay, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. And that's Mr. Isaac Amsmove. What do y'all think about that comment right there, man? That's a good one right there. I know what I think about it, but I want to hear what y'all think about that quote right there.
Yeah, that's a powerful quote. Yeah,
Can't hear you. Can y'all hear me? Is it me?
No, it's him.
Get chipped out.
Come back.
Is it me chipping out?
Yeah.
Yeah, you back now.
Is that
Oh,
better?
big up the Marcus. I just seen you creeping here, man. Big up to you, brother. PseudoKillas official, man. How you doing, man?
Go ahead, Malcolm. Mac Rob. Dang, you going again.
Go ahead, pick it up, Richard.
Yeah, so yeah, man. So I think between the preface and the introduction in the first chapter, like some jewels was dropped and my book is marked up. But the fact that everybody is supposed to be like, equal, that quote is giving to the reference that people feel that their intellect is equal also. And that's not the case, right? And I don't want to go too far ahead. I want to stay the course, but that's just not so. Like you're not going to be equal without the same road that the expert has traveled, whether it be by training under the tutelage of another expert, a school education, reading, years of experience and work in that particular field or doing that particular thing or task, or whatnot. So yeah, and the way he talks about that and democracy and pairing it together, I thought was interesting. But one of the quotes that he made, and I can't remember, and it was before I started marking, but he was saying that when I find it, I'll list it. It'll probably be out of order, but y'all just remember. But he was saying to the point that it's important to our democracy to have these. Does somebody remember that quote? These conversations, but we still can't lose sight of ourselves. You know what I'm saying? To think that we are better than the expert, and we need the experts. We need them. I'm gonna land there because I don't want to get too far ahead of that.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. Yeah, we hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I had to go with the worldwide internet instead of my damn home internet service. But anyway, so yeah, there were a couple of terms in that paragraph, man, that really stood out. The first one was cult, which we know has been a buzzword in the conscious community on these YouTube streets are short lately. He also mentioned ignorance, so the cult of ignorance in the U.S. And he mentioned anti-intellectualism, and we see that a lot, man. Just going against established knowledge, and
dang, he was cooking with hot grease. He was finna cook that chicken.
He was almost the World Wide Web.
I need you to come back and preach that, Malcolm.
You almost went to the World Wide Web. You went to I ain't gonna say that. Y'all get mad. You get mad at me. He's the African internet. Let me stop.
No, that be in the Caribbean too. They be cutting it off
on purpose, yo. Why they cut the internet off, man? Is that why?
They just cut it off.
Sometimes you get a call or something, you get shit.
Fat fact.
Oh, hey, if y'all use the stream, y'all download the app, then y'all won't go through none of that. I meant to tell y'all. For anybody want to get on, download the stream, y'all app.
Oh yeah, and y'all hit that. Dang, he gone. But go ahead, so y'all hit that the link. I'll put the link in the chat in the beginning. I'm gonna keep dropping it.
Yeah, drop link.
I did.
Open discussion on the book.
Yeah,
Even
come
if you
on
haven't
in.
even read the book, certain quotes we go over, y'all can just kind of like just wade in on it, yo. This is how we like to. This the way I like to do my my book joints. I know Sosa is comfortable with that because this is the type of discussions we have around shit. It's the way we like to do it.
Yeah, basically what he's touching on is the fact that you have this established knowledge, right? And due to the fact that now we live in this information age, there's many people, like a lot of people, a lot of autodidacts. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have access to information, and they are able to spout out certain ideas that may seem comparable to those the actual intellectuals in the field. You know what I'm saying? And in this era, they posit themselves as the expert, right? We see that in this community, right? Now that they have some of the tools and they're able to get some of the skills that the experts have, they now think that they're able to surpass the experts without the rigor that the experts that those experts themselves went through to actually get to that level. So that's the type. So that basically, in a sense, the depth of expertise. This is the type of fight that we're up against.
That's exactly what we're up against, and especially. Where you at, Chill? What's up?
What's up? What's up? How y'all doing?
How you doing, brother, man? It's good.
I'm doing well. I like the Mac Rob back up. You want to finish Mac Rob?
Yeah, Lee. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, man.
You got the app? Yeah. If you're on your phone, download the app, yo. Huh?
Yeah, I'm on the app. Can y'all hear me? Is it?
Yeah, we
Is
can
it
hear
a
you
little
loud and
better
clear.
now?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, man. I apologize, y'all. Because I'm like it goes around this jump. But yeah, as y'all probably heard me mention that there were a couple of buzzwords in there. You know what I mean? Words like cult, and he mentioned the cult of ignorance right here in the U.S. Man, an area where we all um, have synonymously mentioned as the land of freedom. Um, he struck back with the term anti-intellectualism, which I think we've seen here in our community, unfortunately, in these YouTube streets. Going from channel to channel, where you have people who have, as he mentioned, they think that their democracy is synonymous with I know as much as you. I have just as much a right to make this determination on a topic as you do, despite your decade or decade and a half worth of expertise in said subject. It was a powerful quote, man. It was a good way to open up the introduction for sure.
Marcus, what's good?
What's good? I found that that last phrase very interesting. I actually looked up who Isaac is, the quote that we quoting, and he was a science fiction writer, but scientist, biology, and all like that. But he was a humanist and an atheist who still proclaimed to be a secular Jew, which I found fascinating. But nevertheless, what led me to enjoy at least this section of it was this cultural life nurtured by a false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. So it's not even the fact that they know anything that is driving it. It's known. It's that they don't know anything, and the fact is they don't know that they don't know enough. And that drives this idea, this false notion that everyone's opinion is equal outside of the fact that you don't know anything. So I found that to be, I enjoyed that part of it. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah. So I think, matter of fact, I do understand that in this generation, also in this show, right? We got to see it in real time, man. And we got to actually experience what people would have experienced in the Middle Ages, right? So like being introduced to a pathogen that intercellular pathogen, obligate, right? Is that that virus was obligated to live inside and replicate inside the cells, right? Inside the cells. And, we never knew what it was. We didn't know what it was because for the first time in human history, that it came across our immune system. It was brand new to our immune system. And it was a lot of fear, man. The same fear that the people felt in the Middle Ages. And we really got to see people show their ass off. And I understood it was fear because I had fear too. Access to a lot of information. It's going to talk about in that book, right? Too much access to false information. All these things actually help drive ignorance on said subject. And goodness gracious, man, the scientists not even knowing whether to wear a mask or not. Fauci made statements on, but we don't necessarily need masses, and a lot of supposedly contradictory statements. Like me, I read a book. I don't think I got it right here, but it was, I forget the gentleman's name. He was a infectious disease. Here we go.
Deadliest Enemy.
Yes, right here. Deadly
Like
Enemy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he had already talked about that would be it's how it would travel with people sneezing and all that, how it would be in the air. Right. They wasn't sure that. They thought maybe you could get it off the surfaces. That's why they had this white metal surfaces, right? But he was saying, based off of him following these plant workers that was in a plant, right? And they followed them, and they realized one of them had coughed out or sneezed out or something, and the workers behind him had got infected. So he said that he knew it would be that. Osterholmes, he was actually at during the time of the AIDS epidemic too, right? So he's been following infectious disease ever. So he knew that. So there was a lot of contradiction going on. Well, the public would think that, but in actuality, scientists were learning about it for the first time. So you would make statements, and one of my favorite scientists, Peter Hotez, was like, "Listen, I'm going to say a lot of things, and then I will change my statements next time you may hear me." People don't understand that. He was basically saying that based off what we got right now, it is definitely subject to change. Now, that's counterintuitive to everything that we think. Right? And that puts a lot of distrust into the unsuspecting community. Because, see, we think science know everything. That's a mischaracterization. We think experts know everything. That's a mischaracterization. So for the first time, we got to see that thing for real and feel like the people felt in the Middle Ages. It was wild. And we all know we had fear in it. But the thing that got us through, right? Besides Mac Rob, and we had Mac Rob. Mac Rob was in the field, and he had us right there, right? We could actually lean on the person that was working alongside that. Big up to you, brother. I'm going to always give you a big up for being in danger. He was definitely in danger, yo, for 3 years straight, bro. So I just want to say, yo, it take heart to do that, because a lot of first responders, yo, didn't make it out of that, bro. So I want to say big up to you, man. Appreciate you choosing this platform, man, to grace your expertise in subject, brother. I just wanted to say that. All right.
That's facts. Black history on the panel.
Could have picked any goddamn body. Anybody. Okay.
Appreciate that. So
my point I want to make without going too long, because I want everybody to dive in. So this pathogen, man, SARS-CoV-2, the novel, that word there, the novel, meaning for the first time, the immune system has ever dealt with that, right? We was in a wild situation. And then we found out who really cared about us. And it had nothing to do with the color. It had those that was really pushing forward with science. None of the food remedies made sense. None of the fake plans and information made sense. It was the experts that we all actually relied on that got to that situation. That's why we can sit up here today, right? Get COVID. You go to the damn doctors, it ain't even nothing. They got the antiviral medicines for it now. You can get vaccinations. You can catch it, and you might be down a little bit, right? Because a vaccine don't stop you from catching it. That's a misnomer. But all these tools have stopped the hospitals from getting clogged up, which would help us out in other situations because people don't stop dying. People don't stop getting sick because of COVID, right? The clogging of the hospital medical systems is the real thing that gets you in those type of situations. But it was the experts that got us through. Anybody want to add to that?
Oh man, it is hard not to talk about the pandemic when reading the depth of expertise. And then and I mean, it's funny that you're doing the same thing that I was doing. It's also hard not to reference that book by Dr. Michael Osterholm, Daily as Enemies, because the pandemic, it exposed the experts, as you mentioned, and the laypersons. And when I say expose the experts, it exposed them to the people who thought they knew how experts should be functioning. So it showed the world that, hey, even our greatest scientists can get could get caught off guard. And it caught the world off guard, man. I mean, it was just amazing. And personally, I was fascinated by it, not in a positive sense of wanting to see people pass away, but I just was fascinated at how it exposed the world's not only our ignorance, but also our inability to understand the moment, because you had thousands and millions of people dying from a pathogen, and most of the people that you would probably encounter either didn't believe it exists initially, and you saw the evolution of how people and I'm not trying to make it about the virus, but it's just, again, it's exposing it. It's related to expertise, and I'll get to it. You can see the evolution of how people were trying to deny the reality that we were not immortal. And the scientists were doing everything they could, using every inch of their expertise to keep us informed, to the point where one of the top experts in this field was the most demonized person on the entire
crazy.
planet.
Wasn't that crazy?
Unbelievable. Man with 40 years of experience.
Crazy.
It's all of a sudden just mute. His expertise meant nothing.
But that also goes, are you talking about Fauci? Because then we can also go to the AIDS epidemic, right?
Absolutely.
Wasn't he a part of that also? And we can see how there was some issues there, right? And I think that was a point where we confuse politicians as experts or whatnot, and it speaks on that, how experts are actually supposed to advise politicians or whatnot. But
yes, that's how I go. They don't have to take that advice, though.
Correct.
Right, but even in that, sometimes they don't, and when they don't, it's to the detriment of people, and we've seen this with the AIDS epidemic and a few instances in here and in America, and even by experts. How shall we say, when we say it's human error, when they make errors, or when they make decisions. And I would say with the expert making a decision, it's in he's not doing it maliciously, right? But when he's wrong, it can cost people. And I think that was the case. That what was that in California?
With the AIDS,
with the AIDS, yes, when they didn't believe that.
Man, I'm going to read a quote from the book.
Go ahead.
No. Sosa, Marcus.
When this book, it has a lot of interesting jewels in there. And not just, we talk about the virus. We're talking about the virus thing now, but he tries to explain that no one's immune from this, right? That even other experts can become, can ignore, right?
Yeah.
and can fall victim to their own biases and
Confirmation biases.
yeah,
Absolutely.
their own ideas of self, right? And so when you talk like yo, we already get to the AIDS epidemic, that wasn't just some random guy. Like he was,
He was an
you know what I'm
expert.
saying? Yeah.
He was an expert.
And
Oh, you talking about the guy in South Africa, right?
I
no,
know.
that he
The
was
one
a
in California.
politician. We talking about the one in
Oh,
California.
oh, okay.
Right. One in California.
man.
He was an expert.
Okay.
So
On the Texas disease?
maybe not on that, but he was, he was educated. He wasn't just a random guy on the street.
Okay.
I'll find it for you in a minute. I'll tell you. I'll read it.
And so that's and it's not just even about like that. It's even like he goes into like your mechanic, right? Or the person who delivers your mail, right? It's just an attitude of combativeness that's not even necessary, and it's a combativeness that may be built upon one's own ignorance. And we're going to get into that too about Dunning-Kruger. And so, yeah, I think that's some interesting points that he brought out about that.
It was Peter Duisberg, and he actually influenced Mbeki in South Africa.
Okay. All right. Crazy.
Duisberg was from the University of California.
California.
All right, so let me pull up this little quote right here then, since we talked about it. Go ahead, share the screen, Juju. Oh, I gotta do that. My fault. I gotta do that. That's good. All right, go ahead. You can read that quote. Can you see it?
Yeah. Thabo Mbeki, then the president of South Africa, seized on the idea that AIDS was caused not by a virus, but by other factors such as malnourishment and poor health. And so he rejected offers of drugs and other forms of assistance to combat HIV infection in South Africa and causing the lives of many.
Oh, there you go. All right, here.
By the mid-2000s, his government relented. But not before Mbeki's fixation on AIDS, denialism ended up costing, by the estimates of doctors at the Harvard School of Public Health, well over 300,000 lives, and the births of some 35,000 HIV-positive children whose infections could have been avoided. Mbeki to this day thinks he was on to something.
Crazy.
Super crazy, insane.
So, expertise is important. Now, I was looking at what American Dream was putting in there. I don't want to get the show turned upside down with, but in reality, the statements that American Dream makes is why we have this book for the everyday person to read. Right? He makes uninformed statements that makes absolutely no sense. If you just pull one of them up, shout out to Ronald. To show you. I got all my shots, but I haven't had the COVID shot in years. That's one of the statement. That's fine. What else he say? Hold on. Then he says, "Well, I know I'm up to date with my shots." He probably was playing with that. No, hold on. He asks who all still takes their COVID vaccine. He says because vaccines, but people are still dying and nobody takes vaccines anymore. So if y'all remember early in the pandemic, I said there's going to be a time where COVID, we're going to accept a certain amount of deaths from COVID, just like we do with the flu. Y'all remember me saying that?
Correct. It's going to change from a pandemic to an endemic, right?
So we're at that now. Don't nobody care.
Right. Right. Exactly.
We have accepted having certain amount of people dying from COVID. And that's what humans do. Like, I tell you what was funny this year, though, boy. Y'all remember we was in a server, right? I believe all y'all was in there, and it was you. You was like, yeah, the flu was crazy this year. Remember you said that?
Yeah.
You did you catch it? Was you? No. It was Sosa. Sosa, didn't you catch the flu this year?
I got
was
the
you
flu
got?
vaccine.
What? It was one of. I was like, oh, I made that left turn. I went right there and got my shot. I was like, I ain't gonna play with it.
No, I got the flu shot and the COVID updated at the same time, and it had me down and out, but I wasn't finna play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, mentally,
I didn't get sick.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
mentally, but and Marcus, you know this, man. That the thing that tore through our immune systems, man. And so that kind of slows it down, right?
Mhm.
Most people came in contact with it, had it.
Right.
Certain level of vaccination is good to where you're right, yo. It's not a public health thing anymore because now they figured it out. They understand it to a certain degree.
Right.
You come in the hospital, they was worrying about that damn flu this year, boy.
Yeah.
Respiratory thing. That's what they was like, oh,
And
COVID. Oh,
RSV.
RSV.
yo, sit over there.
And
RSV.
that RSV joint,
Yeah.
was serious.
Super
Yeah,
serious
buddy.
for elders, children, and regular people. It was all over, and it was wild,
Oh,
like
Mhm.
wildfire.
but see, there it wasn't as maybe it was too serious. You know how like sometimes a virus can be too serious and it won't.
Gonna spread. Mhm.
Yeah, it's too serious to really spread because everybody be
Mhm.
like, oh, but the
Killing the host
COVID,
too quick.
yeah, killing the host.
Right. You talked about that though.
Can't
Like
even
Ebola.
move. Yeah, you
Ebola.
can't even.
Right.
Go ahead.
But yeah, you're right. Yeah, like Ebola, 50%, I think, or close mortality rate. So it's not allowing the host to live long enough to spread it. But COVID, that SARS-CoV-2
Was
was
intelligent.
just. I mean, it was the situation was so right for it.
Mhm.
Think about it, bro. It was going from place to place through singing and talking,
Right.
and would allow the host to live just long enough to spread it to multiple people at a time. It was while it was dangerous, it was just fascinating to see this happening in real time.
It was
Again, fascinating, not meaning happily amused, but
right.
just in disbelief. Like, God, this is really happening. Like the Black Plague or something.
Yeah, it was like the perfect storm, literally.
Perfect storm.
Can I read something, Bobby Banger?
Come on, you can stop it. You're gonna mess up the flow. You got to do your thing, shorty. We in here, we comfortable. No order to this. Y'all want to bring out something in the book. I just had a few things, and I just like to have a conversation around it. Yo, go ahead. So wherever your best spots are in that first chapter and stuff like that, man, go for it. Let's go. Let's get it.
So
And why people ain't getting up on the panel? I know got the book, like Ron and all that. What y'all doing?
I don't know.
Yeah, come on, man. Stop.
Put the link in there 1,000 times. Don't be scared. So it says these are dangerous times. Never have so many people has so much access to so much knowledge, and yet have been so resistant to learning anything. Yo, like libraries are empty these days. I go to the library, it'd be the people working there, and maybe one or two people. Like that's crazy to me, right? That
they're on a computer.
I understand you have a computer, but there's nothing like going in that library and cross-referencing your stuff, or actually holding the book, or even coming across old materials and cross-referencing and things like that. Like I don't know, I feel like still the library should be an important piece, and maybe that's but that's part of the problem though, is the internet. But that's just not the only problem. It's always been like I guess this pushback, and we could talk about in ancient times, how they killed Copernicus and other people because the knowledge that they was giving was like almost too much to handle, or people just wasn't understanding. So, but yeah, so much knowledge, but we're not willing to learn. Like nobody's really willing to pick up a book. Nobody's really willing to read. Like the situation we had yesterday. I could count how many people have actually read anything about Dr. Ben. I ain't trying to go there, but I'm just saying, have you actually read his work? Have you actually really understood his work instead of just going up, oh, he just lied? You know, like it's crazy. Lied to white people in the age of racism, blatant racism. But I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm gonna
No,
leave
you don't gotta leave that alone, because the funny part about it was Dr. Ben, you wouldn't necessarily say he was an expert. He was more along the lines of, you would say, like an autodidact a little bit, and especially specifically in that subject. You can just tell the way he sourced his material, that he understood fluently how to source things up correctly. Very interesting, man. So yeah, I get you, Juju. I get that. And that's not actually promoting anything. I think we're literally to the point now where we don't have to promote Dr. Ben. His legacy is there, square, right? And I just always found it odd that in his death, that they would glorify, right, the things he did as far as his degrees, and then not talk about the things that he did well, right? And
right.
there's a very interesting surprise with Dr. Ben that I found, right? And but I'm gonna hold that to maybe later on, because this conversation is not about Dr. Ben, but he definitely fits squarely in this thing we talk about, depth of expertise. So I would always wonder, did he mess up expertise? Did he put a damper on it or not? I wouldn't think so, just based off the way he sourced it. Now, definitely wrong for falsifying his credentials. Like, I would never say that was right, but I say it over and over again. Just don't talk to me about white people in the 60s, the 50s, and all that. I don't even want to talk. Like, they was on Mars some damn way. If you could look in the person's face and say they're not human, and deny them they civil and human rights, then it's not even worth, like, you're a piece of shit. I don't even got to discuss it. I don't need to be an expert on the subject. I don't need to. There's no deep study in it, right? Like, come on, man.
We got more people on the panel. Shout out to we got Due Diligence in the building, PseudoKillah official Anthony in the building, and Ronald Perkins, part of the PseudoKillah family now. Welcome to the panel. I'm gonna say one last thing and I'm gonna shut up. We are more skeptical to authority, and what was the other part? And prey to superstition. That's like a bit of reality. Yeah, think on that. But anybody else? That's Anthony.
Yo, peace everybody. Peace to the panel.
What up,
Everybody
man?
tuning in. Hope everybody doing all right, having a good day. But yeah, it's a great discussion. I actually got into the book a little bit, but it's crazy to me how most people are the quote unquote layman, or like she was mentioning a little while ago, that how it's so much information out, and you have so many people, able to, have access to a lot of information. And I don't know why, but for me, it's a matter of just being honest with yourself on the level of where you're at, and your motivation behind it all. But yeah, it's going pretty good, man. I'm liking this book and what we're going with it. That's all I wanted to say. I don't want to take too much time, but y'all keep rocking.
Wanted to give a Due Diligence. I know you was up here early and you dropped off, a chance to, introduce yourself, and I guess not. Oh yeah, go ahead, Due Diligence.
Peace, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear.
Yep.
Yeah, my computer is a little bit choppy, so if it just start messing up too much, just let me know and I'll drop out, come back in on my phone or something, because it's acting wacky on my end. But peace to everybody on the panel, man. I appreciate you guys letting me in. But the question that I have for you guys, I just wanted to ask you if the book said anything about, or what you guys think about AGI, because I believe that AGI is going to be the death of expertise also, because once the computer is able to quantify all the knowable information, we're going to have let's say like a digital God is what they're calling it. You know, all of the experts are going to load up what they know, and then the AI will have it and will be able to, you know, give its say on all of the information instead of everybody being in their own bubble and having their own bubble of expertise, and then the AGI be the ultimate expert.
Damn, that's will be. Ooh.
I could. Well, it's not going to act. I would say this: it would still need humans to input that, and it would still have. And if it's choosing the best science out of it, I think that would cut down a lot of mistakes that experts make, and I think it's going to be healthy. You just got to regulate it properly. So I don't, you know what I mean? Like there are certainly more discoveries to be made than not, and we should not be afraid of technology. We should just have a healthy understanding of it. Like we're not in the Middle Ages. People was afraid of of things today that you could say, "Wow, how could you be afraid of that?" You know what I'm saying? That was technology. So no, I don't think it's gonna. I mean, humanity will continue to march forward. The internet, people think the internet to be witchcraft.
Correct.
Well, how did that do that? Oh man, we're gonna be, you know, Chat GPT has really refined our conversations. And the funny part about it, you can really find out who the quacks is immediately in the conversation. You can see who went too damn far this way, right in the conversation, in real time. Yeah, it's the funniest thing to me. Craziest thing ever. Listen, look. I'ma always throw some Egyptian shots, right? So I'm gonna say this: we listening to an expert, Deborah Heard, right? We put up her credentials. We wanted to show them the most respect, right? A lot of panel heavy with sisters, right? Fighting for their education. They had different variant opinions on certain things, right? And for me, I like to listen to the experts to see just how close the group is, not to their particular stance, maybe, but the way of transmitting the wisdom and knowledge and information. Because I can hear it. I can hear when you faking, right? There are certain things you will say that make me know you faking, right? And so, Chef Renell, I know he faking. And I'm saying I know he faking because he said the Nubians was black people. So that means you really hadn't comprehended the whole conversation. I mean, you faking. If you don't care to comprehend it, or like he said, he just doesn't understand that. So when I listened to Deborah Heard, I heard her say, she said the things that we have been saying from day one. She talked about how it's a hole that you will never get out of, trying to fight that battle of making them black. Then she said how we don't use those racist statements to identify African people. Makes no sense, right? Then somebody on the panel say, if you get stuck right there, which we have been stuck for 3 years, 4 years, right? You will never learn about the people and what they actually did. This is an experts are saying this. They look just like us. Nobody talked about that. They peep, because they know the whole time they was actually going against the expertise.
Haven't heard a beat. Nobody's talking about the William Leo Hansberry conference.
Leo Hansberry.
Not one person.
Big up to Leo Hansberry.
Facts.
And what he did. If you don't got a Leo Hansberry book, right, then you don't have a collection. Anyway.
I think due diligence, I don't think that humanity as a whole will ever accept AGI as being the expert. This book pretty much summarizes how humans behave in some degree towards expertise and knowledge. And so there will always be a group of people who will always feel as though their own opinion is equivalent to the combination of all experts' opinion. And so I don't think that's, I think it'll help people who love to learn, who understands the scientific community to some degree. And then I think those who reject science will reject that as well.
I agree. And it also it also speaks on how, like the internet, that was just the next newest thing, right? Now AI is the next newest thing. And after AI, there'll be something else that, you know what I'm saying, we would, oh my God, what is this going to do? So yeah, it's just the phase, and it's just part of our reality. But nothing new under the sun, so to speak. I'm gonna shut up.
How's everybody doing?
We good, man. How you doing, brother?
Doing good, good. I appreciate the opportunity again to come on the panel. Very good conversation. I'm enjoying the book as well. But it's as I read the book, for me, it's a little. When I was growing up, the people that you respected in the community were and I put brackets around this. The educated people were like the teachers and the preachers, and maybe in your community you may have had a doctor or a lawyer, but nobody challenged that group of people when they said something. It was taken as gospel, and I think that what's happened as people have become more and more educated. I'm not talking about going to college or graduate degrees and doctors and postdoctorate. I'm talking about people just getting basic education. It seems like now it's this natural tendency to push back against the people who were in former times considered to be experts. And as I read this book more and more, right now I'm on the chapter about again, I'm not trying to get ahead of the group, but I'm on the chapter talking about higher education. And as people have more access to education, it's this big push against experts. And I don't know if that's ever going to stop now. I mean, almost the genie is out of the bottle. So how does that stop?
I think my fault.
What's going on, Brad? How you doing,
What's
bro?
going on? What's going on, brother?
That's a nice avatar you got there, Chief.
Yeah, of course. I'm just cheating just a little bit. But go ahead if y'all wanted to answer. I just want to speak to that before I spoke about the part I liked in the book. The one thing I always say is as good as social media is as bad as social media is. So much misinformation is flooded through these phones, tablets, and MacBooks and things. I don't know if anybody else has this thing, but my mother and father, they call me at least 2 or 3 times a day. Did you see what they said about this? Did you see what they said about that? And they look at TikTok as experts. So they look at, because they say this PhD comes on and says some kind of scary thing. You got to put all your money under your mattress. And then somebody else says, take all your money out of your mattress. But it's 2 experts technically. So what happens is real information is getting drowned out by the ease of access for misinformation. I'll say this morning, the other day, I almost started crying. I found out Loaded Lux was dead, right? This rapper, one of my favorite, one of my favorite rappers. Yeah.
No.
Listen, hold on. See exactly how you responded?
Oh, so yesterday. I knew I seen him on the interview.
It was a hoax. No, but it was a hoax.
I knew I
and
just
that's what I mean by they said he went to DC and on my entire timeline, because I follow battle rap on my Instagram, a lot of battle rappers, it was Loaded Lux dead, Loaded Lux dead, Loaded Lux dead. Now, before I would have fell for that, maybe about 5 years ago. But then I immediately went to a couple specific people that I know that got exact information, and the first post on their page was it's a hoax. But a lot of people don't do that. They just go with the misinformation. Something happened at 4 o'clock, the whole world knows at 4:05. That's not like before in the 90s and 80s where something happened at 4 o'clock, you wouldn't find out till the next day. So now this is a vetted story. You know exactly what it is. You know exactly the information. So I think to answer your question, Ron, they're going against the experts because they're getting so much misinformation. It's when you log on to social media, if you are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, you're just getting flooded with misinformation all day long, 24/7. And then when you go out and have these conversations, they use the immortal they. They said this, they said that. And when you ask them who they is, they can't answer you. But that was it. I'll get into my part about the book when it's my turn.
Okay. All right.
Can I say something about that? Am I speaking out of turn?
No, you good. We comfortable.
All right, but yeah, I wish I would have read the book because it sounds pretty interesting, and I agree on the points that you guys are making, and that the book has made.
Get it, due diligence. You still get it. You still get it.
Already.
Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
So it kind of is a gift and a curse with all the information being available. You know, we got journals, how fast we can get it, AI, you know, and then we can get experts books, you know what I mean? So people can be expert at curating the experts information, you know, gathering their whole, you know, all of their books, and then being able to, you know, put them all together and be knowledgeable, and maybe more knowledgeable than the person that's in that specific expertise, you know. And that's what people are doing, and it is kind of a gift and a curse because now everybody think they are knowledgeable of the information, so it can kind of set us back. And I want to mention again, you know, with AI, it's going to be a different type of beast because it ain't going to be able to slip, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, this new chat GPT is just the first step amongst a couple, and existential growth off an AI and this AGI is going to be something monstrous. So, you know, I'm excited about the future, you know, whether it's going to be death of the experts or not. All this new technology is coming, you know, and I'm excited about it. I don't know about you guys, but it sounds like an excellent book.
Well, you chipped out, but I will tell you, you know, if you're part of the PK Discord, it's a free PDF in there. Due diligence.
Yeah, I might have to slip in there.
You might.
Yeah, leave ignorance at the door. We leave all ignorance at the door, and then we're all willing to learn and understand and traverse ideas, yo. That's real right there. 8 to 80, not the blind, not the crippled. Let me stop. Oh man, that shit funny, yo. Yeah. Yeah, you know, the book is where it's supposed to be. Let me I want you to look at this. It's about the statement about the Ukraine.
Roger that.
So
which was interesting because we're having that situation, and
we had that situation. You know, niggas don't understand basic geography and shit.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. You see it, Juju? We'll start right here, and then we'll go to the next slide on that.
How's it? Oh, there we go. All right. So yeah, map tests are easy to fail. Far more unsettling is that this lack of knowledge did not stop respondents from expressing fairly pointed views about the matter. Actually, this is an understatement. The public not only expressed strong views, but respondents actually showed enthusiasm for military intervention in Ukraine in direct proportion to their lack of knowledge about Ukraine.
Yeah, and so basically, yeah, that's deep. Basically, all right, go ahead, read this right here. Put another way,
people who thought Ukraine was located in Latin America or Australia were the most enthusiastic about the use of U.S. military force. To these are dangerous times. Never have so many people had so much access to so much knowledge and yet have been so resistant to learning anything.
Crazy, yo.
Crazy.
Miseducation, voting to have military aid sent. I mean, the tax such and such, and don't even understand it on the map. You know, we got people arguing about Nile Valley culture. I had niggas argue with me that it wasn't called the Nile Valley.
I'm done.
Chef and L.
The Fertile Crescent or something?
Chef and L. They said it was the black algae term, Nile Valley. Did that. Right? Ignoring the experts to bring your own thing to the table constantly. Interesting to me. Maps, geography. Most niggas don't even know how large that country is. Most people think when they look at a map of Africa, that was the map 3500 BCE with the lines on it and all that. They really think that. Craziest thing ever.
Hey, Unc, I go another line with you. the size of the you ever seen that study? I think you might have done it, where they showed the actual size of the country, the continents versus what you see on the map. So you don't even know how large the size of the continents are based on what you see on the map, because it's actually wrong. If somebody could pull that up, that'd be kind of educating. But can I tell you the part I liked about the part I took from the book?
Yeah,
the part I like, I'm gonna go politician and policymakers, right?
Go ahead.
He attacked it from, and that's the reason why I like this book, is because it actually challenges what you think you know. Even though you think you know why people don't like expertise, what it is. But he was talking about politics in that in regards to voting, why people don't look at experts anymore. They just go in and basically vote. But he says central to this collapse of reason is a stubborn insistence by a fair number of people that modern life today is simply terrible, worse even than the lived experience of the recent past. We live in an age of peace and plenty, and yet many of our fellow citizens dismiss almost everything that made such this age possible. So I was looking at it, and people actually do say, so what have these experts done for us in the past 50 years? And people forget, like, there was a Cold War. Like, there was a time where we were under threat of planetary destruction, where diseases, we still had smallpox, polio, global domestic violence. Diagnosis of most of the forms of cancer were death sentences at the time. So when they, and then he was talking, and he broke it down, something so small as something that we do sometimes, is ordinary citizens that are disdainful of expertise, but they benefit from it every day, but they still complain. Each time we turn a tap and drink fresh, clean water, it is a triumph for a panoply of experts, from chemists to city planners to, yes, even politicians and policymakers. But we're so spoiled, we think that this is just a normal order of things to have clean drinking water.
Wow.
So that it's just when you're complaining about this and complaining about that, I don't think people know how many people don't have access to fresh water, don't have necessary electricity. And I think sometimes I never realized that because things are so good is why people don't realize the experts actually put us in this place. So that was the part that I like. That's my political part, but I love this book. I finished it already too, probably like Ron, but I'll keep up with everybody else.
You want to explain this map, Brass?
Go ahead. You got to click to start now. Hold on. I got a lot of notes. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think this is the map that Brass is talking about.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about.
But I see how the United States is fitting in there, though.
Yeah, the United States and Asia.
Hold on. I'm gonna try to pull it up.
I mean, there's a couple.
Yeah, one of the old what do you call them? The Percator maps.
Yeah.
That show the continents disproportionately
of
sized.
their actually sizes. Yeah, try to find a map where it shows the actual size.
That was the actual size.
Yeah, this is the actual size. So
no, but sure, I'm talking about not. I misspoke. The size that they represent to us, also, if you could, they have some where they juxtapose them next to each other.
I got you. Give me a minute, but y'all go ahead. I'll look for that while y'all talk.
But so you seen it also, Ron?
Yeah. It was done on purpose.
Exactly.
To try to emphasize areas of power. I mean, like, for instance, they would diminish the size of the continent of Africa compared to Europe or America. So, yeah, they played those games back in the day.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Actually, it says, like, I'm reading about it. So on there, it says that they have Greenland, right? It says in the Mercator projection, land masses closer to the poles, such as Greenland and Antarctica, appear much larger relative to their actual size, like Africa and South America. For example, Africa is actually 14 times larger than Greenland, but on the Mercator map, Greenland often appears to be of comparable size. So they say that they do it in regards to, because the Earth is a sphere, and it distorts the size based on the equator and the North and South Pole. But there's also a figurative thing where you don't realize how, you know, how large these continents actually are. So it's like a racial component too, if, you know, that's how they play it. But they have a, you know, they tend to, and see, I'm saying they, whoever did it has an actual, you know, a scheme to what they're trying to do.
Is that it? Can you see that?
Yeah. So now look at look at how they have it versus what it actually, what the sizes actually are.
Oh, is this gonna give me a commercial?
Hope not.
You know, there's an actual reason why.
Building your online business.
Oh, you hold that commercial. Just drop it down, drop it down, drop it down, drop it
I don't
down.
know how to.
You
I'm
take it
still
off the
learning.
screen.
Oh, I mean, it's finna.
Oh.
Oh, there it is. That's what I'm saying. Now you got it. Dang, that's wild. So that's how they show it versus how it really is.
Yeah. So like what they'll do is, you know, it's more like a Eurocentric. They'll use the Mercator piece in regards to why it is the way it is, but it says this is seen not only in the disproportionate sizes of countries and continents, but also in the placement of Europe at the center of many world maps. So such Eurocentrism can inadvertently contribute to a perception of Western society.
That's wild.
But then it's like let's talk about the colonial context, how they talk about maps played a critical role used for navigation, claiming territories and delineating boundaries. Like Unc said, there were no lines.
Right.
There were no, and I don't think people understand that. I don't think people understand that at all. When they say people just walked out and specifically went to one place as if there was a GPS at the time. I don't know, but it's been critiqued because the sizes of Africa and South America, they influence, believe it, you know, because we're human beings, you get a skewed understanding of the world. You know, why are those two specifically smaller? So now there's actually a push to make them more representative of what it is. And that's what I kind of like about this this generation too. There is kind of a push for, even though they kind of go against expertise, like Ron said, there is a push for them to get the actual information out rather than just, you know, being force fed. Because I would have never known. I know that Africa is bigger, but based on the map as a child, you wouldn't know that. You would just go with what you saw. You think Europe is in the center of the world. But everybody else proceed.
Yeah, but the maps, that's not actually why this is like that. I got a great breakdown on why the maps is like that. A lot of times we think because it's hard, because you know you're actually making a map on a flat surface, right? So it's hard to get the proper what's the term I want to use?
Dimensions.
Yeah, that's why it's like that.
Yeah,
and there is no map that's going to actually get that right. Based off it's on a flat surface, and you're trying to, you know, make it's actually on like a global spherical elliptical. So it's you're not going to ever get that like that. I don't think they can actually do it. Maybe I'll find a source for that.
Okay.
It's interesting though, but I got challenged on that. Maybe, man, I'm thinking maybe a year ago, because I used to always use the Peterson projection map, and even that projection's wasn't right. If you type that in though, Brash.
So the Peterson projection map.
Yeah, and I was thinking that was kind of like the map that was kind of more accurate, but none of them are actually that. Yeah, I used to think
maybe while you're looking for the maps, just another thing I was thinking about as I read the book was, you know, I think Brass hit the nail on the head when he talked about the amount of information that's available for everybody now. It's just tremendous, and I think what's missing sometimes is, I mean, we try to gather all the information, but our skills at being able to vet the information, I think, is sometimes lacking. And I think this is kind of what the author is talking about, Tom Nichols, about how do we critically think about the information that we're taking in. I mean, everybody has all this information hitting them at once, and the information could be diametrically opposed. So how do you know what's right? versus what's not right, or what's complete versus what's incomplete. That way of critical thinking. I can just imagine that back in the old days, if you had to go out and build your house and hunt for your food, then you acquired, in some ways, I think you acquired more critical thinking then, because you had to know, which berries to stay away from, what season to farm, what animals were good to eat versus the ones that weren't, how to construct your house such that it wouldn't blow down with the first big wind. But now we don't have to do those things anymore. It's just about getting constant information, and whatever we hear is right. Whatever we hear first wins. I think
I think that's
that's
a
one thing he's
great
getting
point.
to.
That's a great point.
No, I think that's a great point, because you also got to take into consideration propaganda, and then state-sponsored propaganda at that, because
Absolutely.
governments are allowed to lie to you. So not only do we got to watch out for political bias information by experts, we then get blindsided by the government telling us whatever they want us to hear, and then we got to watch out for other governments trying to influence us on what they want us to know. So it's just, I agree, the discernment of information is going to be critical in the future, and the future is now.
I gotta give you a perfect example. So I'm a Republican. I'm gonna just put that out there. But with Biden, right? I was having a discussion with a friend of mine, and I was trying to explain to him. He kept, we were talking about what Biden necessarily has done for Black people, right? And he just kept saying over and over again, well, he dropped the student loans. He keeps dropping the student loans. And the way that it's portrayed in the media is if somehow only Black people have student loans. So every time that he drops it, it's kind of skewed that, oh yeah, that's something that he did for us, when in actuality, that's for everybody. Now, I'm not saying that to take a shot, but I'm saying that as far as to the non-discerning eye, if they're saying that, like, oh yeah, he dropped the student loans, he helped us out with that. But in actuality, that's something that he helped for everyone.
Yeah, a common Black issue. Like, it ain't even a basic Black issue.
Exactly, right. But that's every time he goes down in the polls on necessarily amongst the Black voters, he drops some more student loans. So even he knows, or his PR team most likely knows, that that's like a topic that people will fall for. And that's what I mean by sometimes too much information is not good. It's not. Matter of fact, I would say most times too much information is not good, because most people don't vet information. Because I think, what was we talking about with COVID? And I'm gonna land my plane. When they did the studies after not after the pandemic, but when they did the studies on the misinformation for the pandemic, for COVID, about the pandemic, out of all the misinformation on the internet about COVID, it literally tracked back to, was it 8 accounts or 12? GodKillla.
Say it was
again?
Like
8.
It was like 12 accounts.
It was like 12,
wasn't it? Like,
it was like 12 accounts for all the misinformation. Yep. Like 80-90% of the misinformation on Twitter or in social media, it trailed back to about 12 accounts. So that's why when people say that this isn't dangerous,
it is.
Imagine how dangerous that is if a person just ran 12 accounts. Even with Putin and Trump back in that whole conversation. Social media, that is a very, very powerful tool. It elects presidents, it kills people every day. So when you have these kinds of situations, I thought that that's a alarming stat. It made me pay a lot more attention to my activities on social media when I found out about those 12 accounts that were accounted for 85+% of all the misinformation about COVID. So imagine all those people that just logged on and didn't go get a booster shot, or you don't need a mask and stuff like that. I didn't watch y'all at the time, but from what I understand, based off what everybody said, PseudoKillas came out very strongly in favor of the vaccine and actually really went after the people that gave misinformation. So if nobody else told y'all, I applaud y'all for that, and I appreciate it, because I lost a lot of people during that time. I almost lost my own life recently to COVID. So I appreciate that.
Damn, you ain't almost died, did you, Braz? God damn.
Bro, I was one step. I had the respirator, and I was literally
Damn.
a couple percentage points from oxygen to going on the ventilator.
Oh man.
I'm still
Wow.
taking a nebulizer. I'm on a nebulizer for the next 30 days.
So what you think? No, I was gonna ask you something crazy. Why you think you didn't die? You think it was the vaccine that came through
No,
at
I
the
know it.
end?
I put it in the chat. The doctor even said, I put it in the chat, and it was funny when y'all, that's what actually made me, jump on the panel, because when I went to DR to look at some things, and when I came back, like I told you when we talked, I went to take a step upstairs, and I just fell back, and I woke up in the hospital, and afterwards, talking to my wife and everything, it wasn't a lot of people in the hospital with COVID. The majority of the people in the hospital at the time that were in way worse situation than I was RSV and the flu.
Yeah, boy.
Like, I mean, it was like I didn't go into the hospital during the pandemic, but I mean, I'm out here in Jersey. It was crazy out here. But when I tell you the emergency room was full, I mean completely full in the hallways and everything. And my wife was telling me these are all people with the flu and RSV. She was talking to the doctor. He was like, it's not even a lot of COVID patients here.
Yeah.
And that's how crazy. I don't know if we have any nurses that can, or doctors or anything that could correspond or say if that's what's going on somewhere else. But yeah, it was rough. And he told me being vaccinated, having your booster, it helped. It helped. And I did have my flu shot, so it helped. I mean, how could it have not? I don't understand. Like, when people say things about COVID now, you're literally just repeating something that you heard. You're definitely not repeating
From an
something that you know.
From an
Yeah.
anti-vax.
Yeah, you're not repeating what you know. You're just repeating what you heard. You're repeating what you read or what you listened to. You're not repeating what you know.
Well,
Because
Brad,
everybody goes and gets that vaccine when they go to take that breath, and you can't. All of a sudden,
That's a
that
good one.
vaccine is very
That's
important. Ain't
wild.
nothing. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's nothing scarier than when you go to take a breath and you
And you
can't.
can't.
Oh,
Tell you.
hell no.
Damn.
Hell no.
I popped
Don't
up.
want it. I'm
So
glad you're here.
Yeah.
absolutely. Brad,
Yes, sir.
you made a lot of points, man, and that's kind of what he talked about in the depth of expertise. You said that too much information is, could be more dangerous or just as dangerous as not enough. And I think that's what happened. And I never talk about modern society without mentioning the increase in population. So we have a larger population of people. We have easier access to people across the world. So you have more people who have access to information that they don't understand. And so that means that more ignorance, people are more exposed to ignorance than they are expertise. And so that becomes the model of the day.
Go ahead, did you read that? That is the model of the day, and you hit it right on the head. The TikTok, the YouTube, the whole nine, the misinformation, the community, those that promote pseudoisms, those who act like they don't know what you're talking about, and how I say it, people will always misconstrue what you didn't say, you know what I'm saying, and then misunderstand what you did say. This shit is crazy, yo. I think they call that shit gaslighting, yo. I understand what gaslighting is now. You feel me? When it's the craziest thing ever. Like, we got people in the chat right now trying to talk Egypt. Now I know you're fanatical. Whatever the hell it is, you fanatical, yo. Like, we do live in a world we can have conversations about expertise, right? And it doesn't have to be based around the bullshit all the time.
Nope.
Like, I realize that people are actually one-trick ponies, and that's what actually make their life. Like, they gotta do that. They gotta talk about that because they have no range.
Oh boy.
Right? And they use this right here. Read that, Juju. This is what's really going on.
One trick pony. I'm gonna put that in my pocket. I fear we are witnessing the death of the ideal of expertise itself. A Google-filled, Wikipedia-based, blog-citing collapse of any division between professionals and lay people, students and teachers, knowers and wonderers. In other words, between those of any achievement in an area and those with none at all.
it's the most interesting thing, yo. These conversations we have, people do it. Yeah, they do it, and then they'll present articles and take them out of, and just take them completely out of the scope of what the article was actually written for. It's crazy.
Oh, Jesus
and,
Christ.
and it's causing a divide. And so that's, and I tell you the thing that's extra wild to me. We actually are starting to thrive on bringing experts in, right? And now you got this climate of people just trying to dirty their name, right? So the experts don't even want to deal with us, period.
You got to address this comment.
What?
One trick ponies. One trick pony number one.
Like he's, remember, yo, he has no comprehension. His listening skills is not there. His comprehension is not there. It's a crazy statement. Like
who is that?
Oh, you know who it is, man. That's Neanderthal James. Like he wouldn't understand that.
Oh, that's the Pan-African guy. Okay.
No, don't do that.
No, I don't mean that against the group. I mean him. I don't know these people's names.
Will.
I just know him by, that's Pan-African.
The one trick pony guy on Wills. Yeah, the fact that he's not dead, James, is the proof that the vaccine works. See, he could have actually been dead, not breathing at all.
Too much to come back. You can look at all the stuff he went through.
So can I read something? This is actually source. The vaccine reducing severity of the disease. If you are exposed to the disease after vaccination, your immune system is primed to respond. This can significantly reduce the severity of the disease compared to if you had not been vaccinated. For many vaccines, this means that even if you do catch the disease, you are far less likely to experience severe symptoms, require hospitalization, or face life-threatening complications. So just so we're clear, when I say I was on a respirator, the reason my body fought it before I had to get on a ventilator, before I had to take those next steps. So yes, it may not keep you out the hospital. It might not, for whatever, but this ain't a belief because I got a shot in my arm. I didn't read a book and believe. I didn't say, I didn't drink orange juice and drink elderberry and all of that and say, yeah, that's what did it. I actually had the vaccine. So I think that's what, I went far. Don't get me wrong. I was right there, but that ventilator, from what I understand, I guess somebody else could educate me to that. But those ventilators, from what I said, from what I see, they change you. They my friends. A couple of my friends went on those ventilators. A couple of my friends who own gyms and a couple of athletes that I know, they never been the same. And now they have what they call long haul COVID life, COVID people. They're never the same. I mean, these are young guys. These are guys who are at the top of their fields. I got a friend who's a macro surgeon. You don't go to him if you break your ankle, but if you shatter it into 300 pieces, he'll put you back together. And he had to retire because he can't even function. When he wakes up, he literally, he has a brain fog. And I was going through, not what he went through, but that's one of the things they don't talk about with COVID. It's not all coughing and fevers and things like that. Your brain, I don't know if any of y'all had COVID. I'm just saying it's like a fog where you just can't concentrate for too long.
Yeah,
I had it, but it didn't do nothing to me. Like, I was asymptomatic, so I don't know. I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's all I have to say.
No, hey, I'm glad you're here, though, bro. I'm because we had a crazy conversation and then you disappeared, yo.
Not even 3 days.
Yeah, yo, right there. That was some crazy.
When we was talking, I was packing for the Dominican Republic. That's how funny. I mean, not funny, but that's how crazy it was. I was talking to DQ, and he was like, "What happened to you?" And we started talking, and my wife actually was talking to DQ on my phone to him, like just telling him, like, it is what it is. His family's here, things like that. So,
man,
it was tough. It was tough.
That's some bullshit. So put that on the screen, Juju.
Can I ask a question?
Hold on, let's read this thing, then you can ask the question. Juju, where you at?
When life and death are involved, however, it's a lot less funny. The antics of clownish anti-vaccine crusaders like actors Jim Carrey and Jenny McCarthy undeniably make the great television or for a fun afternoon of reading on Twitter.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. So you got a brother on here talking about he could have lost his life, man.
And then you got somebody in the crowd mocking the shit.
You
Get
got
out.
people in the thing just being like it doesn't even make it. It's beyond the pale. It doesn't even
COVID.
And then I'm wrong for being petty. Nah, you play stupid games, you get stupid prizes.
COVID to me was so much different. You would have thought that when it hit, and it was every night they were showing the number of people that were hospitalized, the number of people who were dying. I mean, that was on national TV every night. You'd have thought people would have been more open to going to get the vaccine once it was developed, but it actually had an opposite effect, and that's what I found strange about the whole COVID epidemic was that it defied logic in some ways, because as people could look at their television screens and they could see the numbers going up. I mean, exponentially going up, but they were saying, "Oh no, we don't believe that. That's not real." And that to me was that what that told me was that people just are not thinking. They're not thinking critically. At least they're thinking, but they're not thinking critically, even to the point of their own health and safety. That they were willing to say that, "Hey, we don't believe what these medical professionals are saying. We're gonna take ivermectin or something someone else told me about." I mean, for me, it's just defied logic at that point. That I could not understand why people weren't running to get the vaccine. I mean, they were like going the opposite direction.
Go ahead, Mark. No. Go ahead, Mark.
Hold on. Read this on the screen, and then we can finish right where y'all at. Got on there?
Bobby Banger hot now. But when they and other uninformed celebrities and public figures seize on myths and misinformation about the dangers of vaccines, millions of people could once again be in serious danger from preventable afflictions like measles and whooping cough. Huh?
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Crazy. But go ahead, Marcus. You was great to speak.
Humans as a whole have a problem with exponential math and risk.
Right.
And so it's the most wildest thing. I was Gary pull up Steven Pinker book, Rationality. And he speaks about this in the first chapter. And he gives two examples about this phenomenon that humans go through. And because we don't understand this portion of risk, and we don't understand exponentially how exponential math work, we're easily to misunderstand statistics, and we have bad evaluations on risk to our own personal health. And when you start adding in things like politics, religiosity, like how you feel, and self-identity, it gets much worse. And a prime example is that when Trump was in office, the Democrats were hesitant on the vaccine, saying it was too fast. And then when Biden got in, the Republicans then became hesitant. And it's just a complete switch. And it's one of the most fascinating things. Another example is, and you get manipulated. Another example is I was watching this documentary about the Affordable Care Act and how certain areas along the Appalachian Mountains rejected it solely because it was branded as Obamacare. And
what? It was accepted?
No, they actually rejected it. Because it was branded as Obamacare.
Nigga care.
Yeah.
For real.
Yo, did you just say nigga care?
Yeah. That's real though. Exactly.
But it's a fact though. That's
and they were willing. The tragedy in that is that they were willing to die for it. And you had a guy who had like stage 4 cancer. And the guy who's doing the interview said, you do know that you would have gotten treatment from the Affordable Care Act. And the guy looked puzzled at him. And so the guy had to then come to him and say, no, Obamacare. And he goes on this long rant about how that was for immigrants and people and illegals. And I reject that wholeheartedly. And, you know, he gave up his life for a foolish belief and being manipulated through propaganda. And so I think that there's a real danger involved in this. And I think he touches on it quite a bit, not just with the AIDS epidemic, but with the raw milk. And if you don't know about the raw milk, the Nation of Islam promotes drinking raw milk.
Unpasteurized.
Yeah.
And don't forget the white beans. Don't forget the white beans. You gotta eat the white beans too.
Dangerous it is to drink unpasteurized milk.
Right.
Do y'all
a lot of people.
Don't forget them beans. That's an interesting stomach. You drink raw milk and white beans.
And navy beans. Remember
Navy beans, yeah. Lord.
No,
it's not even their cousins, the Great Northern beans, because if you use the Great Northern beans, it's not the same. It's got to be the Navy beans.
I'm done. They both look and taste damn near the same too.
They are the same. They really are the same beans.
Right?
One is just a larger version. It's a long story. So I see this in this book, and he talks about that, and he talks about that stinking raw milk, and how it wasn't just. It was the educated people who was rushing out thinking that they were doing something good getting this raw milk. It was going to this restaurant that's notable in the West Coast and ordering ice cream made with raw milk.
Nope.
It's nasty. It's systematic and it's problematic, and it's a human condition. And wild. And you got a whole belief system that is literally teaching to go out and drink raw milk. And you got people in the Nation of Islam down in Tennessee area who put their money together to buy cow and to drink raw milk.
They got it down.
And I'm trying to figure out, why does that make sense to you? And it's not really psychosis, but I'm going to pull up the term. Y'all, I apologize. Y'all know I'm always going to deal with the brain. So
it's called a cult. Hold on, man. Call it what it is. It's called the damn cult. You can start right there. Go ahead. Cult.
I'm going to there's a term in psychosis that they use. I got to go back to the Discord and get it. I think I posted it in the Discord for it. And then I'm gonna come back and tell y'all about it. But it has to do with we was doing about the postpartum, and in there they talk about the difference between psychosis and depression for postpartum. And in the psychosis, there's a term that they use that has to do with where your beliefs seem rational to you, but it makes utterly no sense. And it just fills your mind with, this is the right steps to take. Like in the thing that I was reading about, she was talking about a young lady who was going through postpartum psychosis, and she made the water boiling for the child, and it just so happened that the guy was the child's father. They don't mention husband or not, so I can't say that. The child's father was there and stopped her. And in her mind, in that psychotic state, in that psychosis, she thought that it was rational to do. And
what she was going to do with the boiling water?
She's going to put the child in it.
She was going to bathe the baby, Bobby.
To do what?
Bathe it to get all the germs off. It's a type of
hell no.
She was having a postpartum crisis, though, sir. We're going to talk about it coming up this Sunday.
And while I'm not willing to extend that to them, I am willing to say that with us being unable to rationalize some of our risks that we do, there are some things that people think are rational that is far from it. And drinking raw milk is a prime example.
Well, just
So
if
I
I
was
can
wondering
comment on
if
the raw,
y'all let me
if
give
I
y'all a
comment
little pushback.
on the
He
raw
said
milk
he's gonna
thing.
let me
Yeah.
ask a question
Go ahead.
a minute ago. So I just wanna know what y'all think about this on the topic of death of the expertise, right? So what do you have to say about people like, Elon Musk, who wasn't a rocket scientist but created rockets and knew nothing about manufacturing but made automobiles? Steve Jobs, who wasn't really like a programmer or engineer, and he went out and did engineering and programming. People like Warren Buffett, who was not in finance but went out and made great investments and things of that nature.
It talks about that in the book. You got to get the book, but
Yeah, it does. It specifically talks about
yeah,
some of
but
that stuff in the book.
Elon Musk
That's not
actually
true.
got
Mm.
experts to do.
Yeah, that's not true, yo. Come on,
He didn't do that.
You spoke that. Stop it, due diligence. You know that.
I know you thought maybe you was gonna get that off.
Darn, the
I
most
mean,
wonderful
I
man,
really-
the greatest man in the
No.
world.
I'm asking that. I was asking y'all, what do y'all think about it? I haven't read the book, so it's a question.
No, but not even the book.
Correcting the facts you gave.
Yeah, not even the book. Like, look, think about it this way, right?
What fact that was wrong?
No, think about it like this.
He got scientists to do that work. He didn't do that. He's not sitting in the laboratory doing none of that. He may be walking around looking at that, but he's not doing that.
I didn't say that he did it. I said, what do you think about guys that like Elon Musk?
Let him finish. Go ahead, dude.
I said that don't have any expertise in the field and went out and did these things. I'm not saying he literally did it with his hands, because nobody building rockets are doing it by themselves. Nobody who's manufacturing cars are doing it by themselves. Nobody who's doing like Steve Jobs, he didn't do those things by himself. But I'm saying the point that I'm making is people that didn't go and get the expertise in the field and get the proper degrees in that field, but still successful in that field.
We got you, due diligence. We got you. We got the gist of what you're saying, and you got it all wrong. He just put the money up, bro, and he paid the experts to do all the things that you're talking about. He didn't actually do any of that. He talks about it on a regular basis, yo. He matter of fact, that's what makes his style so dope, right? That he gets the best people in the field to work on it. That's the genius of him.
But I named two other people: Steve Jobs.
Hold on, let's stay with Elon Musk though. Let's stay with Elon Musk, because Elon Musk, there's a word for any of these things. It's called vision. Most of the people that actually create these things don't have the vision nor the capital to get it done. So, and then also Elon Musk, he's autodidactic. So one of the things that he does, right, or he did, I studied him. He doesn't have any formal training, but he's somebody who he read extensively about rockets. His goal, his whole time, he has a belief. He's very rich. That's a benefit. But he also has a belief, in his goal, the end game of what he's trying to do is not just, I just want to create rockets. That's just all I want to do. He wants to reduce space transportation costs, and he wants to enable the colonization of Mars. So he didn't just go out and find a bunch of people. He actually went out and learned, studied, got technical expertise himself, and then hired still people smarter than him, right, that were able to design it. So he did it through failures and innovation. But one of the words that is very important in all the guys that you name is vision. It's vision. I study Warren Buffett. Buffett's stock, you cannot duplicate Buffett's stock ability. But even him, you might think that these people aren't experts in their field, but they are. I don't know if you ever read a book called 10,000 Hours by Malcolm Gladwell, I don't know if the name of the book is that, but I know his study is the 10,000 Hour study with Malcolm Gladwell. These are people that are immersed. Like for example, I'm gonna say this about He gonna reject it, but it is what it is.
But before you go on,
let him say it. Let him say it.
Unc is not what you would call. He wouldn't call himself an expert,
I don't know.
But if you count the hours, just the hours that he's done in anthropology and in studying blacktop pottery and all these things, all the different conversations, there are times when he'll say, like, yeah, I had that conversation 10 years ago. I had that conversation 15 years ago. I had that conversation 20 years ago. Things like that. After about 10,000 hours, that's a good read. I don't know if anybody read that book. I don't know if the name of the book is 10,000 hours, but the premise is basically 10,000 hours in any field. You're right there. You might not have the degree, you might not have all of it, but and trust me, Warren Buffett has 50,000 hours probably. I'm exaggerating, in just studying stocks, studying companies, and he takes losses too. Stocks is not an end game like history or science. There are no sources that are just going to make you rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I read that book, and I forget
So
the name
hold
as,
on, hold on. Let me.
I think the book y'all talking about is called Outliers.
Yeah,
Outliers.
That's
That's
what
right.
it's called.
Outliers.
Outliers.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
y'all
read
see
it.
this. Y'all see this right here, right? So this is Nation of Islam. And warning: look, do not take the experimental COVID-19 vaccine. And these are supposed to be the people that are dedicated to helping Black people, right? And I want you to know they've done enough drives for money. Washington D.C. march, they were all well-funded money for them to have their own virologists, bro. They could have actually got the small lab. You don't need a big lab, right? And sent brothers and sisters to school in Islamic fashion, and had their own virologists, man. And so they don't actually care, right? And they give you this. First of all, before you even go here, they're gonna give you advice. Look at the advice. Look at the advice right here. Can you see the juju?
Okay, it says the following are some things you can do for yourself and the members of your household
Let me make
to
it bigger. Watch how stupid it
to
gets.
help
Watch this.
guard in your health.
Watch this. What it say? Dumb
It
shit.
say,
Look.
be sure to wear a mask in public places, and
Hold on.
when
Did
not at
they
home.
just say what the CDC said?
Yep.
They get this straight from the CDC.
This nigga's wild.
They listen straight from the CDC. Go watch this. Look at the next. Look.
Practice social distancing when in public.
Straight from the CDC. Go ahead.
Wash your hands regularly.
Straight from the CDC. Keep going.
Clean, sanitize, and disinfect your home regularly, especially in high traffic areas and high touch surfaces such as doorknobs, door handles, light switches, faucets, knobs.
Next.
Handles.
Keep going.
I do that anyway. People should do that anyway.
Man, that's a CDC recommendation.
What else says? Maintain a wholesome, healthy diet full of fruits and vegetables, such as navy beans.
I told you, bro, them damn Navy beans, bro. that's the part that tripped me out of all of that. Navy beans.
Onions.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Could you imagine drinking a glass of raw milk and eating a bowl of Navy beans?
That's
Lord.
disgusting, bro.
While coughing.
While coughing. You funny.
Oh my God. I can't imagine.
Just to push back a little bit on
hold on for a minute. Hold on, man.
Let
Anyway,
her finish,
they
bro.
tell you to walk, exercise, good rest. This shit all from the CDC, yo. It's not fair, yo.
Adequate sleep.
Hold on.
Minimize
look, here you
stress.
go. Look, this is the drum roll for y'all. Look, this is what they did on their time. These niggas put fucking pamphlets in African American doors. This is what they did.
And we were at a higher risk. Crazy.
This is what they did. They did that. So deaf to expertise is dangerous in the format of a cult. Who can actually respect this? You know how long they've been playing this game with us, yo? The original anti-vaxxer is Elijah Honorable Muhammad. You've been telling people don't get vaccinated for years.
Facts.
Over 100 years. So I don't know what pushback anybody would offer on this foolery.
Yeah, just a little bit.
And I'm saying it was dangerous. It was out of order. It was and it was downright greedy. It was greedy of them, because if anybody have the resources to actually produce one or two, you only need one good goddamn virologist in the little goddamn building, right? Get the top-notch equipment in there, or sit out the anything, goddamn it. Send some people to school. Get them educated on it. Watch this. This is what Europeans do. They have, I got a whole books on independent, meaning they're not wanting to deal with the government and their science. So they have independent studies on the material. This is what we supposed to be able to do. But the cults take the money, they give it to one person, and it's bananas. Yeah, I don't have no pushback for you. I'll mess with the whole show. If you start pushing me back on this one, dog, that's going to be an issue, yo.
Well, it's okay, because
by the way, I love beans
in the black community. So do I. But in the black community, we all have to admit that there have been some nefarious things that have gone on in the black community.
No, that's not good.
And so because of that,
not good, yo. That's not good.
And because of that, but it's true though. It may not be good.
It's not good. It's true. It's not true.
So the Tuskegee,
it's not true.
No,
that's not true. All that.
Never happened.
There's the Tuskegee study. But wait a minute. First of all, wait.
Let me explain it.
Wait, yeah, exactly. Yeah. What do you think about?
Explain that. We're listening to you.
Experiment. Tell us what happened. That's what.
Now you got me all in.
Yeah. So
it
was men that had syphilis, and the doctors didn't treat them. I mean, they told them they were treating, but they didn't treat them.
Correct. Keep going.
And so, I mean, so that's
what was the part that was part that was evil? No, that wasn't. What was the part that was wrong? Hold on. What was the part that was? Tell the whole story.
The fact that they were telling them that they were treating.
No,
that's
not. No, that's
not. That's malpractice.
No,
And once that came out,
no, you're framing it.
Definitely evil.
You're framing it.
That came out. But
that's not. You're out of order on your facts.
No, you can't.
Out of order on your facts.
But you're gonna try to sanitize.
No, you're out of order on your facts.
Why would he try to sanitize
that?
Because he's disagreeing with what.
No, I'm disagreeing with your order of facts with the proper information.
Okay, so tell me the proper. So tell me the proper.
The proper thing was there was no cure for syphilis at the time when they started the studies. There wasn't any penicillin yet.
But that's true.
The atrocious part was when they found a cure, they didn't make it available to the people in the study, and then they continued on doing it. That was wild.
That's what I just said.
Right? No, you did not.
I didn't say that.
And in closing, based off of that, there were a lot of laws that generated out of that can no longer. They developed a process that would not allow that to happen again because they admitted it was wild. And oh, by the way, the families actually got paid for it. And this is the fundamental difference prior to people giving them they human rights and civic rights. Now you have recourse. When wild evil people do think. No, what I'm saying is that the thing that's important here is that changed the United States, bro. That's what actually happened. It changed the United States.
Going off on
I'm telling the whole story. You just want to tell the wild part that make people scared to go.
I'm not making them
scared. That is wild. Yo, you
because I believe in the vaccine.
Yo, you got to. That's not what I'm saying. You have to tell the whole story in context.
I'm just saying.
It's already wild enough.
Why the suspicion in the community? I'm saying I can understand it.
Understood, but did you know that they didn't have a cure for that?
Yeah, but they had treatments.
You knew that?
Yeah, no, they didn't have treatments for no damn syphilis.
They were
that up.
They were. They did have treatments.
No treatment for damn syphilis.
We did not have a cure for bad blood.
I didn't say a cure.
Some of the elements,
treatments,
which is what we call.
Oh man, what treatments?
Different elements. There wasn't any. Wait. I want to say this. I have something on the screen. I need everybody to go to the Tuskegee Institute itself, where it happened, and those participants, and read what they say. Because they say exactly what Bobby is saying to y'all. I don't understand that. Most people don't even know that there wasn't a cure for syphilis in bad blood. So yeah.
What you're saying, but what you're saying is that this wasn't nefarious. You're saying that that didn't happen.
No, what I'm saying is the thing that's even worse is that in 2024, you would actually frame and mischaracterize the argument that would force black people to be afraid to get medical treatment.
I'm not trying to
That's
force
even
them.
worse than what they did, bro.
I believe in science.
No, bro. I'm not. What I'm telling you is,
but you said
I don't give a damn what nobody think I'm saying. What I'm saying is, accuracy and the truth will bold the black community better than us framing that shit up like that, making you afraid to get medical treatment. That's not right. We should never use that as a weapon. No, brother. We should never use that as a weapon.
Understand why
we should just tell the truth, yo. How about that?
No, yeah, you can tell the truth, but people
but how about that, though? Don't you think the truth is enough?
But
don't you think that what they did was wild enough, though, bro?
I understand.
Don't you think the truth?
But don't you think people will still be suspicious?
Don't you think that people will be suspicious enough with the truth? You don't think we all sitting back here saying,
that's what I'm saying.
That's wild they did that.
That's why they were suspicious. When the truth came out, that's why they were suspicious. That's why that's somewhat embedded in the black community.
That is not a reason not to get vaccinated.
I'm not saying it's a reason not to get vaccinated.
Hold on, I want you to know.
There's
that's
a reason
what we're
for
talking
suspicion.
about. That is not a reason to get medical help. If that's the case, you start with white people, right? You can start with the whole 1700s, how wild it was for anybody dealing with medical things. You can just say humans, period. It was all wild.
I know, but you showed the nation. You showed the flyer from the Nation of Islam.
Oh man, so see, that's the point.
I'm saying, so you were talking about black people.
Yeah, I'm point.
You're saying that you don't understand why people don't.
No,
why you don't understand what people.
I've never said that. I can no.
So you understand why this?
I never said that. What I said was I don't understand why they framed that Tuskegee information like that, which would put us in more harm. That's what I didn't understand. I said you could just told the truth, and we were
people still would have been suspicious.
Right, but if you frame it that way, you sitting there saying, "Man, they're gonna get our ass." Then that shit.
I'm not saying they're gonna get us. I'm saying that I can understand
why by the United States government to do that. That was a long study, right? That got out of control. That was baffling and crazy and wild.
But that's my point.
And then I always make the point is, don't tell me about white people in the 50s and the 40s, yo. Right? Don't tell me about them. They on Mars some motherfucking way. They couldn't even look you in your face and know you was human. So that ain't even get. You can't never tell me about white people, yo. They was the most wildest human beings walking around in America, bro. So you can never tell me about them. No, I'm saying you're trying to judge a people who wouldn't even give you human goddamn rights, bro.
That's all tangential to what we're talking about.
It is not.
It absolutely
I'm saying you would expect people who wouldn't even give you human rights to do that type of thing. And I'm saying that's not the situation now. So when you tell the truth, tell the truth. We have the ability to tell it like it was. And how it was enough.
Can I get in there? Can I get in there when y'all
talking about COVID? And then you brought up go ahead. Go ahead, Brass.
No, when y'all get in. So
no, go ahead, Brass.
All right, so this is where I jump out the car. While I don't think it is a reason to, I agree with Unc on that piece about it is not a reason to not get COVID vaccine. I mean, I can understand their mistrust, but it's not a reason to not get it, right?
No, Brass, that's not what I'm actually saying. I'm saying, Brass, you can make what I'm saying is
tell
the story the right way, bro. We don't gotta pump it up because that's the tool that Rizza Islam and them, they weaponize this shit. The shit was already wild beyond the pale. It was already the most craziest thing you could ever do to a group of people who you won't even give their civil and human rights to. It was already off the charts. Now you got black people that look like us taking that same destruction and weaponizing it and putting fear in our motherfucking heart, yo. And I'm saying that's wilder than what the white boys was doing. That's what I'm saying. That was a weapon that they used against us, bro. They weaponized this story by mistelling the shit. You just tell the truth was enough. That's all I'm saying. Now you have niggas in the chat that will mischaracterize that will gaslight the situation because that's what they do. They do it on regular occurrences because they don't give a damn. Everybody know what I'm saying.
Tell part of the reason people.
Hold on, wait, Ron. Let me say.
I'm just saying, tell the truth. Tell every fact the way it was. Don't say I done heard niggas say, yo, they gave him syphilis. That was they said all that. So now you can lie about it because the white people did do it, but now you can lie and say that they gave it to them. Well, that's just the same. They did all that, bro. I don't understand that, bro.
So now I understand. So I won't mischaracterize. I won't speak to what you or Ron are saying, but I do want to speak to one thing that y'all said. Somebody said that it was a lone study, and that's categorically false.
You talking about with the syphilis though?
In Tuskegee, the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. It was done by the U.S. Public Health Service. That's a government agency. It wasn't done by like some wild, like just people.
Nope, we got that part.
Yeah. So and then on top there, it was highly egregious, highly unethical. It was one of the largest unethical. I mean, they weren't told they were part of a study. They were misled about the treatment for bad blood. They withheld the treatment, like Unc said. And then on top of that, and this kind of speaks to what Ron is saying, they exploited a vulnerable population. You know, they were economically, the black men at that time were targeted because of their lack of economics, because that was the financial part. It was a lack of respect for just people in general. And then, like Unc said, they failed to provide adequate care. But that's where I stop. Once you take that and start making it for reasons to not go get your colon checked and not go get vaccines, and the government did this and that's why I jump out of the car for that. But I just want to be very specific. I don't want, because the way the conversation is being perceived, and I'm breaking a rule, because I'm in the peanut gallery, is I don't want you to think that we're saying, right. I don't want y'all to think that we're saying
they don't care, Brad.
It was ethical and this, that, and the other.
Brad, you were very clear, Brad. It's called gaslighting, yo. I now know what it means, yo. That's not realistic. So if I'm saying, listen, present the study, right, in its fullness, right? You can go to the website and actually read it. You can go to CDC and educate yourself on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Simple as that. We don't need you saying, yo, they gave us syphilis.
Right.
Because they did. They actually was in South America and did that.
That's not what I said.
Wait a minute, I'm next, because even in that Tuskegee, I think everybody even needs to go to that site and reread it, because not going against you, they didn't give them adequate care for the syphilis, but they actually gave them medical care and other incentives to participate in that study, not only for the participants, but for their family. So that's what I'm saying. There are a lot of points and details to it. And I'm in no way am I saying that's what make it right. I'm not. But if we're talking about facts,
you can't
talking about facts.
I think we're on the same page.
You gotta be.
Let me finish. But I'm just saying, y'all go read what Tuskegee said about it, please.
You can't do it. We can't be educated. We gotta be uneducated, motherfucker, to take a piece of the story and run with it.
Yeah, that's how I wanted to be clear.
Around, they gave it to them. They still ain't did it. We can't be educated and say, well, this is a story. This shit was the worst shit ever on planet Earth. We can't say that ain't enough. Whatever.
And then also it wasn't. Yeah, it was also the study was actually to see how syphilis untreated would. It's just what they did in order to do it. That's the actual challenge. Yeah, it was untreated syphilis. They were trying to see what would happen if the syphilis went untreated. It's just correct. When you talk about bad blood, you target a specific community, you don't give them information. You know, that's the unethical piece that's evil. And I want to be very clear about that. That's the evilness. And that's why we make a good point when you say get educated on the actual subject. Right. It wasn't about syphilis. It was how untreated syphilis would it was about untreated syphilis. So it's a study. I would never say anything like glad to happen. I know there were good things that came from it, this, that, and the other, but it was a terrible, terrible experiment.
It's horrible.
Because of how they did it.
But do we nobody ever talks about Guatemala? And I'm gonna leave that.
Right, that's when they shot him up with this shit.
Yeah,
but
do we? Oh hell with them, they Guatemala. We don't care. But
do we agree that
can I say some real? My bad, bro. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say that.
Go ahead, Gullah. You haven't spoken much, please. I'm not disrespectful, Ronald. I'm not. I just want to give everybody a fair chance. Go ahead, Gullah.
No, all I was gonna say is it was an ongoing like a protest not too long ago, especially with activist Dorothy what's her name, Dorothy Roberts, I believe. She's a black medical she's a medical scholar, but she actually spoke out against, like, sometimes like these doctors, they'll prescribe people certain medicines or certain treatments based like a race on race based on, like, instead of the people's personal genetic makeup. And she kind
High
of
blood
speak out
pressure
against it.
medicine.
Yeah, they give people like, oh, just because you this race, you know what I'm saying, you gonna give you this dosage, but you for real, each dosage of medicine or thing you should be treated should be to the individual and your own your own genetic makeup. Yeah.
Agreed.
So did you
That's
show
why.
this on the screen though, Juju? So and
What
that's
you
the
want me to
point.
put on the screen? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
just put that back. So now
the Tuskegee.
Tuskegee
Okay,
can't tell the
sorry.
truth, or else they some kind of way trying to suppress the truth.
Right.
Like,
And that sister Dorothy Roberts, she has a wiki page too. They break all what she talk about on there too.
and Pan-African James, I agree with you. Why are they experimenting on black people? Anyway, I agree with you. But see, but watch this. Don't nobody want to talk about where they kicked your damn door down, locked you up to vaccinate you. Y'all want to talk about that? Do y'all want to talk about that? I want to talk about that. What about when white people kicked your door down to vaccinate you against quote unquote smallpox?
Massachusetts.
Do we want to talk about that? It was white people. They would lock. If you didn't get back, they would
Trying
lock
to
your ass
understand the
up.
point you're making, though. What point are you trying to make?
I want to
Would
make
you
the
let
point.
him
Very,
finish?
very, very straight to the point. Let's talk about it. When white people chase people down and would literally lock, they came in the black community, yo. They came in the low income community. They came in the community with immigrants was, not just black people. Kicked their door down because people was running and they didn't want to get vaccinated. They was on some anti-vax shit, and they forced them to get. It's called the forced vaccine campaign. Go look that up.
So
all that shit again. I think that's wild. No, I think that's wild. I think you should have a choice. I think that's wild. I think you should absolutely have a choice whether you can get vaccinated or not. But nobody talks about that because the vaccine actually helped them. It actually stopped it from spreading in the damn low-income community. Nobody wants to talk about that, though.
That's not
that's my point.
The discussion,
I want to talk about everything.
The discussion was why there's suspicion in the black community against the vaccine experts. We understand.
We understand
that.
Off of piggybacking off of the Nation of Islam. And you threw that in. I could see why Islam.
Yeah, of course. I don't even know
see why they would put the pamphlet in your door.
I'm not.
That's why
I didn't say it. I didn't say that. I said I can understand why there's suspicion in the community. There's suspicion in the community.
No.
Forget the pamphlets. I'm saying there's suspicion in the community.
Yeah.
You have to acknowledge that. We just can't say that. Hey, there should be no suspicion. There is suspicion.
Can you see the screen, brother? See this?
Yeah, I see the screen.
Do you know what this is?
No, I don't.
Look, there you go. Tuskegee. Look.
Okay.
U.S. government conducted Tuskegee syphilis experiment on black men without their knowledge and consent. All right. The U.S. also sponsored unethical syphilis experiments on Guatemalan people. Right. And they go into this whole smell. They weaponized it, bro. That's what I was trying to tell you. You dove in. That's what they did that. Told half of it. They told the worst part with the Guatemalan government. How they did. Yo, all on this wild ass pamphlet, yo. That is horrible to do weaponize that situation like that. That I was trying to get to it. You dove in with it. I'm saying that's their number one weapon. So I'm saying, yo, the issue is not that they telling us because we supposed to be informed. The issue is the way they did it is what I was saying. That was my point. They weaponized the situation, yo. Man, I don't need you to put the gun in my head, dog. They already did it. So why 50 years later, you doing the same thing, but you look like me? You're now putting me in harm's way for infectious disease. You're now doing the same thing that they did, but yet it's worse because you look like me and I trust you because you hold up your fist and you say you liberating force in our community. That was my goddamn point. You just jumped in the middle of the buzzsaw, dog.
No, look, I understand what
Now,
you're
can we
saying,
talk about how
but we were
we
talking
have
about the depth and
reason to be
expertise.
doubtful? Listen, can we now talk about how the Black community have good reasons to be skeptical?
But that's what we're talking about.
Right.
You're saying this. You're saying this is not a good.
Let's talk about now. Now, I
But
would like to talk
you're saying
about
Tuskegee is not a good reason, though.
No, Tuskegee is a great reason, but tell it.
Oh man!
Don't put the weapon in front
Oh my
of
God, that's what I'm saying. I mean, come on.
You Rizza Islami right now with that.
I'm not Rizza Islam.
Yeah, that's
no
the point
Rizza Islam is.
You start off with would you know, they did. Yo, you have like,
of
damn.
course.
You gonna stop.
I was offering the counterbalance to what you were saying. It's a counterbalance.
You did all that to come right back around to the point he was making initially.
No,
I was making that point.
No, that's not you didn't give the counterbalance. There's no counter to forcing us not to get treatment. That's not the counter. So that's the foolery to it. Because with all that being said, right? Not getting vaccinated puts you in a worse situation than getting that. So the counterbalance would be something that would be an option. That there was no option on the situation. You didn't give me an option. You put me in harm's way, which is the same thing they did to the people in Tuskegee. They put them in harm's way, and it's wild, yo. So you can't come back and put me in harm's way. You just as wild, and then you look like me. That's the point I'm trying to make here.
I'm not understanding. I'm sorry.
I know you.
I may be the only one that's not understanding this.
Let's run it this way.
Hold
on. My family reads the pamphlet. We trust the Nation of Islam. They've been fighting against white supremacy. We take the Navy beans. We wear the mask show. Yeah, I'm saying my kids are younger. Yeah, I mean, I'm 57, right? I fucking die. My kids take the shit to their grandparents. They fucking die. So now I got people who didn't have to fucking die based off you and the misuse of Tuskegee. Hell, they ain't even die. They just had syphilis. You didn't kill 3-4 people based off the pamphlet. You literally
I think you're misunderstanding. I think there's some misunderstanding here.
Hold on. No, the real truth is that shit ain't even happening no more. That it was actually something good that came out of that, whether you want to hear it or not. It's now regulated. You can no longer, quote unquote, sign a person up without their written consent. Somebody got to be able to read it and understand. You can't do none of that no more. So everybody everybody benefits off that. The American public, period, not just Black people. The Black community benefits off it, but everybody benefits off that situation now. You got situations that happen in Maryland, Baltimore, with the projects and the asbestos, where they play this little game and let the low-income people move into the apartments with asbestos to see what it would do to them. So I'm not sitting here oblivious. You got MK Ultra, where they gave niggas the daggone hallucinogenic and shit, snatching them. So I'm not oblivious to wild white people in the 50s, 30s, and 40s and 60s. That's why I say don't even talk to me about. They was just wrong, all the way wrong. There is no excuse for what they did. And I don't give a damn if you lied, cheated on the resume, cussed their ass out, snuck them somewhere. I wouldn't even care, dog. Because they wouldn't even give you your civil and human rights, bro.
So then you do understand that added dimension in the Black community, why
absolutely
mistrust.
Yes,
well, I mean, that's all I was
we
saying.
need education for it though. So what I'm saying is, so if you have mistrust, don't pump the shit up. That's what I'm saying. And starting off with, boy, you know they gave him syphilis in, but don't get that vaccine. I was already here. I was already not trusting them, yo. You did that. I'm like, oh,
I wasn't pumping them up. I don't think anybody on the panel or anybody in the chat think that I was pumping them up. I was just offering.
No, I don't think you did it on purpose. But I'm saying you dove in the middle of me trying to show the pamphlet of them weaponizing and shit, and you used the same tactic that they did because they mischaracterized the shit.
I didn't dive in. I thought you had finished, but I had
Well, when I
was just
mean
trying to
dive
make
in,
I was
I
trying to
mean
make
you dove in and you did the same thing they did. It's almost like you was reading it. Did you read the pamphlet?
the one you showed. Yeah, I mean the one up there. I didn't.
Keep
Nobody.
my house, boy.
No one put one in my car in my door. But
Jesus Christ, yo, they went straight for the jugular, yo.
no, I'm just saying that in our community, there's a reason why we have that added dimension of mistrust. Why we sometimes push back against experts, and I was using that as an example of how that could happen, of why that's happening. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, so yeah, but in a new time, in a new age where we do have experts that look like us, we're still pushing back. What is the excuse for that? You know what I'm saying? And talking about the death of expertise, it also talks about, again, healthy skepticism, being a skeptic. So there's nothing wrong with that, right? Vet your sources, vet your doctors. I mean, they tell you all the time. Like, I don't get it, because in my own health journey, it's told all the time, like, okay, vet the doctors. Like, even, it's called Florida Healthcare here. Like, they have a whole thing where you could, they can give you information on a certain doctor, and then they have a place where you can go. And maybe I'm sure this is in most states, but you can go and you can like get a little bit of information, and you can also see other patients' critiques and things like that of the doctors. So, I mean, like, and that's just one point. But what I'm saying is, like, there's a way that you can vet things, critique things, or at least get,
No, I'm listening.
But yeah, but at least get as much information as you can to make very informed decisions. So we're not saying, no, don't be skeptical. Or what we're saying is, don't get to the point where it freezes you and now you're just in denial and you're just going to reject all types of whatever medical treatment or those things that can be advantageous to you.
Look, Juju, read this. What does it say? U.S. colonists led by British Commander Sir Jeffrey.
Cash out break.
Let me finish reading the statement right
here.
Go
ahead. All right.
Supposedly gave Native Americans blankets. He did give them. Ain't one of them supposedly gave them blankets, right? And infected them with smallpox in 1770. What the hell we supposed to do with this? Look, in the middle of a pandemic. Look, here you go. Planned Parenthood, funded by Margaret Sanger. You know they fucked that all up. It is a world leader in depopulation through sterilization of black people. Lie, they made that up. Look, listen, U.S. healthcare practices have gave historical abuse and killed people of color. Of course, they was wild. They shipped you out on ships. They named you black. They did all that. Of course, you cannot speak your language. You cannot talk about your native tribes. Can't practice your native religion and custom and traditions. Of course not. Of course they did all these things. This should not even be a surprise. That's why the wild ass nation Islam need to be stopped. That's why.
Yeah, we should go through this pamphlet and actually go through all of those things and fact check them, Bobby Binger.
Cash that break though.
Yeah. What you want?
No, come on, yo. That's why they need to be stopped for all that shit they put on that pamphlet. That's why. Because it's y'all that's doing it, and y'all worse because y'all look just like us, and we trust you more. That's why we trusted you would give us good information. We trusted you, and now you don't even know how many niggas from the Nation of Islam that dropped dead from COVID.
Yeah, boy. You ready for that break? Now I don't got your song, but I got a song. I got the Cash App song.
Hey,
you never gave it to me.
D could go ahead and sing that shit, D.
But I got this one. Shoot. Have to work with it. Go ahead, do your thing. I'll do it for you. Hit that Cash App, people. I need the mods. Go ahead and put that Cash App in the chat. Y'all already know what time it is. Yeah. There you go. Get untap that Cash App in there.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah, boy.
Had some fun with this one. Check. Back to catch wreck. No respect for those who break their neck to keep their hoes in check.
Hit
Be
that
sure
cash
to
up
check
early
the
enough,
box off. I'm
and-
knocking their socks off. Unique flavor, stay in the bag like hot sauce. Let me get mine off. These niggas is
Shout out
tripping
to
to sign
DQ.
off. I'm becoming a one
Oh,
of a
let me
kind
get
boss.
mine
Think
off
the
with
Kush
the
is
cash
from
app
Germany,
break.
the way the man
Hey.
cough. Hilarious with the flow, I'm fucking the word off. These niggas claim they hard, they really appear soft and peeled off. Mad job when I
That
aim
shit
when the
hard.
spears toss. Newbie ass rappers is really my kids now. I'm just Aubrey on the gram, cropping these kids out. Back to catch wreck. No respect for those who break their neck to keep their hoes in check. Be sure to check the box off how I'm knocking their socks off. Unique flavor, stay
One
in
more
the
verse,
bag
y'all.
like
Hit
hot
the
sauce.
cash
Better
app.
call a timeout. A fool nigga, you a fool nigga. Think you can fuck with this rap style? I do this shit for fun. I'm really the class clown. Tap dancing on top of niggas' heads till they tap out. Really the cash cow. Submission hole, yeah, you pigeonhole. Realizing your dice then crapped out. Put yourself in the box, you really just assed out. Cause your boy about to pop and I'm shutting that ass down. Quick
Hey,
with a crop
pop
and really
that
get
cash
passed
app.
round. Cause I'm
Show some
cooler than
love.
the cooler of cools in Hicktown. Niggas claim they rappers, they really just sit down. Only rap for Facebook, I'm reporting that shit now. Compilation of music, sending the zip file to the nearest A&R. Big fish in a big town. Musically inclined, I'm never gonna slip down. Cause the shit is going up as soon as it's mixed down. To catch wreck. No respect for those who break their neck to keep their hoes in check. Be sure to check the box off how I'm knocking their socks off. Unique flavor, stay in the bag like hot sauce.
Hey.
You? Yeah.
Yeah, that's some
And-
old straight up like. Yeah. Let's get right.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money. Let's talk money.
Hey,
Let's talk money.
yeah.
Let's talk money. Let's talk money.
Yeah.
Let's
Check.
talk money. Let's
Look.
talk money.
Paper chasing, racing to $1 million. Why you out here faking for 1 million followers? Hit the liquor store, baby, refill the bottle. So we're getting dope from a Brazilian model. That's me. Can't copy my steps, baby, I'm hard to follow. Lost City of Gold, Dallas, Eldorado. 4 or 5 packs, we gon' mix and match it. Vacuum to the one, then we send the package. Alright, incentivize. How my inner thoughts turn to an enterprise. Easy to enter her inner thighs. Boy, she hypnotized. Sadly mistaken, I've been a vibe. Plus I'm monetized. 50 to 20, 10 to the.
Yeah, that was hot. My bad, Bobby. I just had to do that. Y'all support DQ Hampton for
Hey,
his good
put
music.
that up. Put that up.
Hey, can I
What?
say something real quick
Put what up?
in regards to that?
On the screen.
Hey,
Yeah, go.
we looking to be
Y'all
on the
can't
lookout for that show about DQ's book on bass fishing on Amazon.
when
It's
we
live
doing?
on Amazon and the ebook. We're gonna do it
Wait a minute.
next week on PseudoKillas, a community of skeptics. If on give us the green light on the day.
Green light. Green light. Pick
Okay,
the
so
day.
we're gonna
You
do
see what's
that,
on the
and
screen
then
though, right?
Hold
no,
on.
it's not on the screen.
Wait a
And
minute. I'll do it like this.
DQ got a podcast coming soon, beginning of April.
Yeah.
Got
See, I only can put it. You talking about the QRL? I haven't figured out the other way. I only got it.
No. I was saying, well, share my screen right here.
Okay. My bad. All right. Which one you want me to put up?
Well, I want to put right here.
That
You know
one?
what I mean? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you know what this is, right?
Yeah.
Chapter 1 overview. Texas pond bass fishing. The allure of Texas bass fishing. Diverse topographies. Nigga using science, yo. Depth variation. Ecosystem impact.
Get it, DQ.
Yeah, that's what he doing, yo.
That part.
Yeah, we here. Yeah. Deep, interesting shit. I was like, yo, this shit, damn. Like, I ain't had no idea it was this serious with the fishing shit right here. This
Yeah,
ain't the regular shit.
I need my copy
different.
autographed, DQ. I'll be getting about a week. So
Is that a
yeah.
catfish? That's a catfish. What is that?
that look like a catfish. But it's bass. Might be a bass, ain't it?
That's the person who motivated him to start fishing.
Wow.
It's a deep book, man. It was fun.
Yeah,
It
That's
was
his
fun working with
granddad,
him
ain't
putting
it?
that together. Yeah. It was fun
Yeah.
working with him putting that together. It's dope. It's dope, man.
Shout out to DQ.
Yeah, unexpected,
facts.
yo.
A
Didn't
pseudo
expect
killer
something like
official
that.
forever.
Facts.
Unofficial.
He say regardless.
Regardless, unofficial.
Oh yeah.
Blood in, blood out, and then you can't get out.
Yeah, boy. Gang in there. Gang.
Every 3
Let me
months I get
stop.
sucked back into a group. They won't let me out ever. I can't get out. They won't let
No,
me out.
boy.
I got to
Gang,
carry the
gang.
tradition of not letting you out.
Gang, gang. Gang, gang.
EQ, baby.
EQ,
Yeah,
baby.
right up there, baby.
Y'all need to get them pickles. I'll be getting
Canyon
my
Reservoirs,
pickles too.
Falcons.
Trying to take my pickles to Egypt. What y'all doing? I'm gonna
That
pack them
bird
right in
is-
the suitcase.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
He's sitting there looking at
We
that
got the
bird.
commercials coming soon. It's gonna be fire.
Yeah,
That's crazy,
buddy.
though. Yeah, he's sitting there doing this thing right there. All right, let's
Yeah.
get back to the show, man.
I think
Yeah, y'all pick a date, man. Ain't no, come on, yo.
keep telling y'all like we ready. I'll hit the link for anybody for a show. Shoot, I ain't got to be a part of
Anything
it.
you want to
I'll
talk about.
drive.
Appreciate that. We appreciate that.
I'll drive the bus. But Marcus had this up, so I want.
You know, it's Chef and L, blood in, blood out.
We know, Sheffer. We know.
Blood in,
We
blood
know.
out, nigga.
Y'all is funny, bro. I can't. Marcus, go ahead. Get us back on task.
So I think there were some valid concerns and points brought up. And there are some things that are not just historically, but there's some questionable things even right now with the medical community that is we should be aware of. But I pulled this up about what happened in Philadelphia and towards the vaccination for COVID. And the reason why I pulled it up is because I hear the animosity and the doubt, but I don't see the energy put towards solving the problem.
Talk.
So the Nation of Islam had numerous of opportunities to send people to become doctors, to become lawyers, and to learn, and then be able to put a much more functional program together. And they chose to do something else. But these Black women here took the initiative to go into neighborhoods that were predominantly African American and to some degree Hispanic, and not only administer vaccine, but took the time out to explain to the people the importance of it, and then to build that trust in a healthy way. They are still around today. They're not doing the vaccines as much, but they're now working on doing healthcare in those same communities that have been, to some degree, abandoned, or at least haven't been a focal point on healthy medical treatment. And so you can look this article up. I'll put it in the back chat so we can add it to there, and you can look at what they did, these Black women, and how they fought to ensure that we were well informed. I worked with other groups and organizations that made it their point to not only administer good health care options, but to ensure that people were informed on why and the need and the necessity. And so my point wouldn't be not to point out that Black people as a whole mistrust the medical community for legitimate reasons.
Right.
But my concern is why these organizations who complained about it did put people into that field to ensure that we get the best treatment, and not teach us that spraying peroxide from a bottle or eating navy beans every day,
right,
or drinking raw milk or sunbathing is going to be able to fix this viral load, when they had an option to send people to get educated so that this community could be protected. So I understand why a lot of people may have their feelings about it, but how many of y'all have invested in learning and then sending someone there to get the proper education?
That
or
part.
you want to take the time out to talk to somebody who got the proper education? So I mean, I feel some of your emotions behind it, but your actions don't say that it's sincere. So I want y'all to knock it off.
Thank you, Talumbwe. I want to read this piece real quick and I'll let somebody else go. Shout out DQ. I see you on the panel. What up, Hits? Thank you for joining us. But
what's up, Hits? Where the hell Hits at? Hits, what's up, man?
There, AI down there. And DQ, but it
ain't
says
even said hi today, man. What the hell's going on?
He said hey to me a couple times. So it says social change.
What's up?
Social
What's up, Hits?
What's up?
Social changes only in the past half century finally broke down old barriers of race, class, and sexism, not only between Americans in general, but also between uneducated citizens and elite persons in particular. A wider circle of debate meant more knowledge, but more social friction. Universal education, the greater empowerment of women and minorities, the growth of a middle class, and increased social mobility, all through a minority of experts and the majority of citizens into direct contact after nearly 2 centuries in which they rarely had to interact with each other. And yet the result has not been a greater respect for knowledge, but the growth of an irrational conviction among Americans that everyone is as smart as everyone else.
So let's get a quote from the book before we close out. We're doing the first chapter, introduction.
You know that was from the book, right?
Yeah. I wanted the last quote. That was good. You want to discuss that?
I mean, I think it is pretty clear.
It seemed like it was. Yeah, it seemed like it was that.
I think it was right on part of the discussion we were just having. You feel me? So I was like, oh yeah.
He must have been watching our videos.
Yo, how on point the literature is, how on point he was. Tom Nichols, shout out to Tom Nichols. We got to try to reach out to him.
Yeah, we can get him.
Yeah, the Harvard Extension School. Yeah, I already done my research. But here I go. By the depth of expertise, I do not mean the depth of actual expert abilities, the knowledge of specific things that set some people apart from others in various areas. There will always be doctors and diplomats, lawyers and engineers, and many other specialists in various fields.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boy, I hope y'all enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Finish it off, man.
On a day-to-day basis, the world cannot function without them. If we break a bone or get arrested, we call a doctor or a lawyer. When we travel, when we take it for granted that the pilot knows how airplanes work. If we ran into trouble overseas, we call a consular official who we assume will know what to do. Yeah, boy, I need them.
And that's where the rubber meets the road at. We play these little wild games. We hand out these little wild pamphlets. But if your mother gets sick for real, you're taking her to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
After all the pamphlets and all that, when you got sick from COVID, you took your ass to the hospital.
Run into that bitch.
There was not one Nation of Islam member that was like, I'm not going to go to the hospital. If you really, truly got sick. Okay? And there was no Black Power ambulance that came and got us.
Right.
It wasn't there with the sign painted on the side, Nation of Islam. Although they've had enough money. They've definitely had enough money to do anything they wanted to do that they talked about. It wasn't an herbologist that showed up at our door and took us to the herb hospital. So until that happens, we're going to follow the experts. And oh, by the way, right, we're in 2024 and we have sisters finding elements.
Yeah, Clarice Phelps, ladies and gentlemen.
Plenty of doctors. This is crazy. You know, my daughter wants to be a surgeon. She's
Nice.
in college now to be a surgeon.
Oh, yeah.
My daughter's doing. There's plenty of people who's educated in the knowledge of self, like we like to say, right? Black African power, red, black, and green, all the above. Skeptical. Remember, we're skeptical in our approach.
Healthy
so that means
skeptics.
we've never stopped being skeptical of medicines and all. That's why, you know, what's this, Doc?
Yep.
I might want to take a second opinion here. I don't trust that. I don't feel comfortable. Right? You know, I always tell the story how I took my daughter a couple places. She had a real bad case of eczema on her hands. Like I had never seen them like that before. At one moment, I thought it was maybe poison oak or poison ivy.
That's eczema for those who ain't from Baltimore. But go ahead.
Eczema, my fault. Eczema is a different thing. Eczema. So yeah, you know what I mean? We was down in Mississippi, right? And the doctors down there told us that it was oh, that's such and such. That's you put some calamine lotion on it. Right? It's poison ivy. I was like, came up there, man. Went to the doctors up in up in Atlanta, and the doctor was like, nah, I don't think that's it. It was an Ethiopian lady. She was like, I don't know. And she went on the internet because that's what doctors do now. They go on the internet and look.
Yeah,
She said, I think
search.
Yeah, she said, I think what this is a severe case of eczema. I was like, what did I say? I thought I wanted to say, yeah. And so they gave us some lotion and all that. I was like, lotion, some medicated lotion. I was like, right? And it's because your skin gets real dry. It's wild as shit what happens, right?
Dry, it pill, it crack, it be bleeding.
And so, I seen my daughter trying to hide her hands and shit, and it just hurt my heart to see my baby like that. So I actually, I said, well, she needed some type of moisture for her hands. I kind of understood that. In my mind, I was thinking, well, these medical soaps that they have are really trying to mimic, natural lotions and like oils and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm just saying. So I went to the store. I go to get my essential oils and shit. And I told the lady, she said, yeah, my daughter had the same type of thing. She said, this what I did. She gave me like some coconut oil, some dark oil. I don't know the name of it. And she said, get the shea butter without no color and get the white shea butter, right? Go home, whip all that shit together. I took all the essential oils and whipped all that shit together and gave it to my daughter. And in about 6-7 days, the shit was gone, right? It had actually moisturized her skin to the point where that didn't happen. So now we know she keep just regular shea butter. She uses that, right? I can always tell when she about to probably like, you ain't using your shit, right? And yeah, and I wonder how many people are actually suffering from eczema when that the shea butter shit and essential oils really work better than what you would call a medicated thing. You know what I'm saying? As far as moisturizing your skin go, it's some interesting shit. But I say all this to say that don't mean I'm running to get no damn herbs and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? That was something for the skin. That's something you could play with. Some shit you can play with. That was something I could say, let me see. I think I can make a better lotion than what they got. That was one of them things. But to think you can make a better vaccine based off some chicken bark soup, we got some shows that's wild. People with when he had the chicken noodle soup. Remember that guy?
I'm not playing.
Y'all remember? I'm not.
Come on, yo. Who's around? And paint your house with lead. Was that's not Phil Valentine?
That's Phil Valentine. We say paint your house with lead.
Yeah, boy.
So anyway, man, we was doing the book. Y'all think we had the time. We did a lot, man. Today we had 2 powerful shows. Celsius World.
You want to let Hits and DQ steady peace.
Yeah, I want to hear something.
Peace out. Hits, hey, it's your turn. You're up.
What's up? Peace, everybody.
Peace, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Hope everybody's well. To jump back to a section of the book, he also stated that the experts should try to do a better job communicating information to the public, especially with social media and all of the available information. So that's another task and everybody know government moves slow, academia moves slow sometimes. And so the experts are going to have to adjust. People who share the information are going to have to adjust. And we're definitely going to have to be humble to a lot of people who are learning, because most people don't know that we're all targeted in some way for information, whether it's through the media, whether it's through policy, social behaviors. We're all being pushed and pulled in different directions. So some people may get it, understand sooner. Some people may take some more time and effort and may even have to lose some things to find out. And I think that book was written like right after the 2016 election. So there was a lot going on at that time. And then with COVID, I think there was a lot of question of experts and the actual professionals. But there was a lot going on during that time too, you know, social, financial. There was like food shortages, the education system was disrupted, people's home lives. So those are prime, you know, opportunities for people to spread mis and disinformation. So on both parts, the people who are listening and trying to learn, just understand that you know, bad information is purposely aimed at you sometimes. And the people who are sharing the information, you know, we have to be humble too to understand that they may not be able to discern that right away. So that calls for being creative and just giving people some room.
Oh
Also,
man, that's a great. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I work on that too. I appreciate
not
that.
saying it's easy, but
Yeah, I shit. You know, but that's a great point. And I think we talked about not only being humble when you know you got some good information, and doing what you're saying is essential. And at a certain point, yo, you have to show your human side and have empathy for people. You know what I'm saying? But the outright person is just sitting there doing that on purpose, man. I have no empathy for that, yo, because they purposely took the time to write that wild pamphlet like that.
DQ, you up? Boy, y'all be bouncing. Yeah, you know, you already know it. He a go getter. Chilumbwe, you have
we didn't quite reach this point, and I'm not sure where we're going to be at the next time we do this. I wanted to just leave this, and this is one thing that I've noticed quite frequently, especially in this conversation, the concept of not saying or leaving subjects that you don't know about alone, right? And so before I go, I want to make sure
you funny. Go ahead though.
I want to make sure that I touch on it. I'm going to touch on it in two places. I'm going to touch on it in the book, and then I'm going to talk about one of my favorite people, Booker T. Washington, and what he says about it. And I think it's okay to say, I don't know. I'm not knowledgeable about the space thing, right? Anthony and Juju do an excellent job on that show. I enjoy sitting back listening, right? I'm not knowledgeable about the Egypt conversation. I have no problem saying that. I leave it alone. I have no problem with that.
Can't you tell it's stupid though?
It's wild. I can tell you that it's wild. I have no problem with accepting that, right? Brass and politics. I try to stay away from those things that I'm not, that I haven't taken the time out to really at least look into the situation. And a good person, I think it's a quality that you have. And he brings it up briefly, but I think we're going to, Booker T. Washington explains it more. And some of the people in this community pride themselves on being teachers. And I think it's okay as a teacher to not know something and just verify. So I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to read what Booker T. Washington so we can get a great context to it. No one can master that much information. We do our best, and when we need to find something out, we consult the best sources. So some of y'all, you know, y'all source material is trash. We can find. I remember asking my high school chemistry teacher, a man I was certain knew everything, for the atomic number of a certain element off the top of his head, in part to challenge him, but mostly because I was too lazy to look it up myself. That's another thing we do here. We like to challenge people just to see what they don't know, under the assumption that you do know. Ridiculous. He raised an eyebrow and said he didn't know. He then gestured over his shoulder to a periodical table of elements posted on the wall and said, "This is why scientists use charts, Tom." And so that.
Excellent, Marcus. Yes.
You're not required.
Run it back.
Yeah, that's it in the chapters that we're discussing now.
What you say? You want me to read it again?
Yeah.
Okay. So
ad lib it.
No one can master that much information. we do our best, and we find and we need to find something out. We consult the best sources we can find. I remember asking my high school chemistry teacher, man, I was certain knew everything for the atomic number of a certain element off the top of his head, in part to challenge him, but mostly because I was too lazy to look it up myself. He raised an eyebrow and said that he didn't know. He then dressed it over his shoulder at a periodic table of elements and posted it on the wall and said, this is why scientists use charts. In Booker T. Washington's book on good character, he says this about teachers. No teacher knows everything about every subject. A good teacher will say frankly and clearly, I don't know. I cannot answer that question. Let me tell you right here, too, that when you go out from here to become teachers yourselves, as large portions of you will go, whenever you get to a point where a student asks you a question which you are not able to answer, or asks you something about a subject of which you are not well informed, you will find it better to say, frankly and honestly, I am unable to answer your questions. Your students will respect you a great deal more for your frankness and honesty. Education is not what a person is able to hold in his head so much as it is what a person is able to find. I believe it was Daniel Webster who said that the truly educated man was not the one who had all the knowledge in his head, but the one who knew where to look for information upon any subject upon which at any time he might want information. And so I think this is a cusp of the conversation we have, and that some people have been engaging in conversations that they're maybe ill-informed on. And because they feel as though they're teachers, they feel as though they have to know everything. And I think this drives conversations into the trash. So I know
that's funny.
We closing out, and so I wanted to just get.
Oh that. Yeah, we closing.
Yeah,
I just cooking with hot grease though, yo. You cooking?
You are cooking though. Damn, you cooking.
So I just wanted to leave with that because I think that's a very telling sign of some of the conversations we've been having. I leave you with my. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I need you to repeat that when we start the show next Monday. Are we gonna do it Monday or Wednesday? We'll figure it out. But I need you to. I want us to start with that again so we can dwell on that a little more. But go ahead, do your thing.
So
I'm about to push the button.
The truth has no defense against a fool determined to be a lie. And so I'm gonna leave y'all with that right there.
I'm gonna say two things. Join us back here next week, probably Monday or Wednesday, for another episode of Death of Expertise. Yeah, the Cult of Ignorance. Yeah, this was a great show. Catch us tomorrow night on our Galaxy Beyond with Anthony and Juju. We got another fire show for you. But with that, do you want some final words, or I'm just gonna hit the button because I'm just about to hit the button?
Hold on. I don't actually have some final words. I want to see how many people was tuning into the show tonight, Juju.
We had a good 90.
That's good. Proud of y'all, man. We need y'all to keep reading, man. I don't want to mess up with go behind Marcus. What he said, I don't want to mess that up, man. But big up, man. Death of Expertise, man. We'll be back next week with chapter 2, chapter 3. And we flow like we've been flowing, man. Get into the conversation, man. We appreciate everybody that came through, man. We got a lot of stars came out tonight, man. The supporters, man. These conversations, man. Away from the Egyptian conversation, we got Range over here.
Range.
Hits. I'm waiting for your next class on AI, man. Y'all join the server, man. We got different classes going on in there, man. Volunteers. Kevin Chill, man. What's up, man? I gotta see the numbers for the shirt, man. I want to ask you something, man. Brother Ali was in the building, man. Pan-African Designs.
We had a good turnout.
James, big up, Gullah. I see you. Babylon Done, man. Yeah, Mr. Metro, man. Brass, man. Shout out for the Cash Apps, man. For everybody support the Cash Apps, man. And like and subscribe to the community. Skeptics and the Pseudo-Killas, man. I'll be waiting on that show on the Bash Fishing by DQ. The shit was tight, yo. High-level conversations around here, man. We got range, man.
We got range. We out. Bye.
Night, everybody.
Yeah. It's DQ, baby.
Like that shit right there.
PseudoKillas, what up? What up? What up? Check. Tapping in, what's the subject? Evolution or revolution, we ain't done yet. Laying flat like Sanchez, it's a bomb threat. I know my flow like Angozi. Source up and show me, homie. You shut up and mute up a moment. The mad scientist, I'm knowing all the components. We own it, and we gon' off it if it's pseudo. You do know we don't entertain that keyboard judo. That big body banger out of Baltimore. Done it all, shop before. Sold a little something, but I taught you more than your average teacher. I had to reach you at your level to bring you up. No devil can never beat you. With precision of a magi, the information supplied by some guys get debunked on live. CK and Juju, I chill in the cut. But if you boys wanna fade, then I'm chefing you up. I organized lie, defeats a disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space age Africans, back again. An organized lie, defeats a disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space age Africans, tapping in. I always been fly, that's an actual omen. You can catch me in the sky, ask Anthony Bowman. He see me with his telescope, I was actually floating off some good kush. The Sabio is actually growing. See, Gullah and Kent is where the money gets spent. Them boys got some books that cost as much as your rent. The second verse should be smashed Rockwell, but I rock well. Underground like Sumerian Rockwells. In the ring like I'm the rock whale. Hell, create a different wave that can rock whales. Hell, shit swell like lunar tides. My entendres off Gandra to who describe. Euthanize foolish guys. Scholastically, haphazardly. Turn your camera on and look me in my eyes. And please do subscribe. 8 to 80, blind, cripple, or crazy. You in for a new surprise. It's DQ, a organized lie. Defeats a disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space age Africans, back again. An organized lie. Defeats a disorganized truth every time. Kudos, who those niggas? Decorated pseudo killers. Space age Africans, tapping in.